may be getting a new name. President Trump says he is considering renaming it Lake America. This as a trade dispute with Canada escalates. Later today, the Canadians are expected to announce retaliatory tariffs on American goods in response to moves that President Trump has said are designed to level the playing field with our neighbor to the north. Ruling 6-3, the Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to advance mail ballot safeguards.
The court declined to stop President Trump's executive order restricting mail-in ballot distribution. However, the justices did not rule on the order's legality, saying the 23 Democrat-led states and Washington, D.C. challenged it too early based on speculative concerns. The policy directs agencies to compile voter eligibility list and requires the Postal Service to send ballots only to approved voters. The administration is moving quickly to put safeguards in place before the November 3rd elections. Ken Lorman reporting.
As kids head back to school, President Trump is highlighting his administration's efforts to expand school choice and safeguard girls' sports for biological girls.
As we remove the far-left extremism from the classroom, we're taking historic action to ensure that every child in America has access to a first-class education. The United States spends more money on education than any other country in the world by double.
The results, says the president, should be better than they are. The Reno, Nevada wildfire continues to burn, although crews are making some progress reining it in with at least 27% containment so far. On Wall Street, ahead of the opening bell, the Dow futures 229 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
With the high price of new and used cars today, many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
The European heat wave isn't only uncomfortable and in some cases deadly for people.
In Britain, this summer's heat and drought have put increasing pressure on native wildlife, like the hedgehog.
We're getting single hedgehogs in rather than a family.
Yvonne Cox is the founder of the Hedgehog Rescue Sanctuary.
Little single hoglets coming in who are much smaller for their development. So it's like they haven't had enough food when mum hasn't been able to feed them because she hasn't had enough food, hasn't produced the milk.
Drought has been declared in almost 3/4 of England.
The puddles and the ponds dry up, so water starts to become difficult for them to source. Also, the ground begins to get baked.
Further trouble.
They can't dig the soil to get the worms and the grubs and etc.
I'm Ben Thomas.
A tornado has ravaged a small village in southern France, leaving dozens of people injured. 39 in all were injured, including 2 critically hurt. News and analysis, townhall.com. The newspaper has been ordered to rehire an employee who trashed TPUSA founder Charlie Kirk after he was killed in Utah.
The Washington Post has been ordered to reinstate the fired columnist who went off bashing conservative Charlie Kirk after he was assassinated. An arbitrator forcing the newspaper to give a platform to the former Global Opinions editor Karen Attia, despite her remarks on social media, and that the Washington Post did not have good and sufficient cause to fire the opinion columnist.
Correspondent Laura Winters reporting. In California, the state Senate has passed a bill to fine content creators who do not disclose that they were paid to post in support of a political candidate or an issue on the ballot. The bills are now heads to the state assembly there before it can head to the desk of California Governor Gavin Newsom. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to a morning without Mike Winters. I ain't he. That wouldn't be me. No sirree, Bottle Rooney. Mixmaster Mike Winters is out today. Now, normally we'd be talking about how he's out getting an adjustment on his Gary Laser Eyes treatment that he's been getting over the past several months to hone in an in-eye laser beam that mostly he's just going to use to flash microwave burritos. I mean, if we're going to be honest, that's probably what they're mostly going to be used for. But today, it's actually not a Gary Laser Eyes day. No, today, I think the only way to put this is, well, not to be outdone, Kim decided to have a shoulder-mounted laser cannon attached to her shoulder so that she can keep up with essentially, the Joneses in Mike's Gary Laser Eyes laser. So she's getting a shoulder-mounted laser cannon put on her shoulder. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're asking your radio right now. Isn't she a school teacher? And yes, that's why the laser cannon is going to be set to pointer status. So basically, it's a shoulder-mounted laser pointer. It's not necessarily going to be rigged for lethal or weaponized purposes. It's actually going to be rigged for classroom purposes. She can, if you've ever seen Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, the thing where he was doing the thing with the machine, that's basically how her shoulder-mounted laser cannon is going to work. She turns one way and the laser cannon turns that way and it points to something specific. As she looks at something on her Promethean board, the laser will point to that thing and it will guide along to help the kids keep up with the reading assignment or math or whatever it is they happen to be working on. So that's what's happening today, shoulder-mounted laser cannon day, just in case you were curious. No, I'm totally kidding. No, Kim is having a procedure done, so Mixmaster Mike is going to be out for today, so he can be by Kim's side, making sure that she is comfortable and well taken care of. And this is a similar procedure to one that Mike has had a couple of times, so he's also going to be the person that helps guide Kim back into the land of consciousness once the procedure's done. We've had it explained several times. After Mike comes out of these procedures, he always feels like he woke up from a really, really, really good night's sleep or a really good nap, and then he feels super energetic and he tries to stand up and, well, then the world gets all topsy-turvy on him. So this time it's Mike who's going to be the arm that guides Kim home. Luckily, it's a relatively short commute. It's happening at Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, so that's good news there. But that procedure is, once again, outpatient. So barring any major concerns, Mixmaster Mike will be right back here inside your radios tomorrow morning to get us through the rest of your work and or school week. But today, happy Tuesday. Welcome to the second day of the work week, second day of the school week, and the second day of the rest of your life. Hopefully yours off to a decent start. I stumbled on something this morning. It blew my mind at first, but then I could not help but slip into basically a minutes-long laughing fit. So if you haven't been keeping up with robotics technology, let me lay this out for you. over in China, they've been working on humanoid robotic technology, and actually humanoid robots that can do the same things that some of our athletes have been able to do. So they held an event called the World Humanoid Robot Games. Basically a series of Olympic-style events, track and field, probably some weightlifting, some other things like that. But the place I want to put focus on is the 100-meter dash. Because the goal with the 100-meter dash, and there were several humanoid robots that were competing in these races, the goal was for one robot or more to beat Usain Bolt's 100-meter dash record. And it happened. The record was achieved by Ting Gong Ultra. That's a robot developed by the Beijing Humanoid Robot Innovation Center, X-Humanoid. It actually finished the 100-meter dash, clocked in at 9.47 seconds. Bolt's record, set in the 2009 World Athletics Championship, has actually stood for 17 years. So his record was 9.58 seconds. The robot scored 9.47 seconds. In other words, all this work with technology and AI that we've been doing, it's barely only just now good enough to break a world record and to be as fast as a human. Hey, you know what? Good for you. The best part of this, though, wasn't the race itself. It's not the world record. It's the fact that these robots can't stop. So at the end of the 100-meter track is this big cushioned panel. And it might be one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life, watching these humanoid robots that basically just look like a fax machine, but with arms and legs that run like humans do, running, and I mean full speed, like as fast as possible, just into these pads, and usually flying backwards, falling backwards, exploding on impact in some cases, or hitting the track and shooting off sparks. In some cases, the robots went off track, and there was one case where a robot, instead of running into the pad, actually ran into the production area and just kept going, basically until wires and computers stopped him. I'm surprised they didn't go off the air, but this is all good news for us as a human race. I'm just telling you all this to let you know, for now, I think we're okay. I don't think that the robot overlords are coming for us just yet. If this is what they've got, go about your day. I think we're going to be okay, at least for now. I'm going to post the video up over on the 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM Facebook page so you can check it out for yourself. But it is one of the funniest things I may have ever seen in my entire life, just watching humanoid robots crash full force into padding. It's hilarious, and it deserves as many eyeballs on it as humanly possible. Hey, just a reminder, Football Friday coming up this Friday, as it was kind of a hit or miss opening salvo for your Artesia Bulldogs and for your Goddard Rockets, but Roswell Coyotes, after a slobber knocker, a real back and forth battle, they overcame the Eagles of Hobbs, taking them out 64-60. It was an absolute barn burner. But this Friday, your Coyotes are traveling across the border over to Canyon to take on the Raiders of Randall High there in Canyon, Texas. That game with a pregame at 5:30 and a kickoff at 6 o'clock. And you can hear that game and see that game over on KSVPTV.com. Our plan this year is to run the home games, the Wool Bowl games, on the radio on Friday night. So this Friday, we'll have on the radio here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, your Goddard Rockets at home at the Wool Bowl, taking on the Cavemen of Carlsbad. That game, pregame 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock, and you can hear that game here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, and of course see that game over at KSVPTV.com. As for your Artesia Bulldogs, it's going to be a very interesting game this Friday. After starting the season 0-1 in a rare loss out the gate for your Artesia Bulldogs, this week they're taking on the Eagles of Hobbs. That's the same team that basically took the Coyotes to the last play of the game in order to score the victory. So it's definitely going to be another barn burner this Friday night. That game is happening in Hobbs, the Bulldogs are on the road, and that game can be heard with a pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock on AM 990 and 93.7 FM KSVP, as well as on KSVPTV.com. You can click on the Artesia Bulldogs tab and check that game out in its entirety. But the season's only just getting underway, and already it's heating up real quick. Let's leave it at that. Let me give you the rundown for today's program. We actually have a full slate for today's show. Start off here in just a few minutes. We're going to get you up to date with the weather. And then we're going to be sitting down with the CEO of Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, Dr. Warren Yell, as well as Dr. Barry Cromer, the new orthopedic surgeon at the Walk-In Orthopedic Care Clinic at Eastern New Mexico Medical Center. We'll chat with them coming up here in just a few minutes, see what they've been up to, and see what's coming and what the folks here in Roswell can expect for care right here in our own backyard. More on that coming up here in just a little bit. Then coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, around 8:15 or so, we'll be chit-chatting with the CEO of the National Championship Air Races. That's right, folks. It's almost that time again. The fastest race in the sky is coming back to Roswell for year number 2. And this year, we're pulling out all the stops. It's going to be bigger and better than ever before. We'll talk with Fred Telling, the CEO of the National Championship Air Races, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have Ms. Diane Taylor joining us in studio. We're going to be chit-chatting about the Nancy Lopez historical golf celebration that's going to be coming up over 3 days, September 3rd through the 5th at different locations here in Roswell. They got all sorts of big events coming up to celebrate Nancy Lopez. The first, and I don't know why they worded it like this on the flyer. It says the first girl golfer state champion. Personally, I'd have said first female golf state champion or first women's golf state champion. Then again, it's not for me to say. Maybe that's the actual wording that they used when she won her tournament. But we'll find all that out and so much more coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. Of course, all your other hourly features, which include Kim Commando, Sean Hannity, and all that good stuff, and whatever else comes our way on this Tuesday. Right now, it's 17 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let us get you up to date with the weather, sponsored by the National Championship Air Races.
The National Championship Air Races return to Roswell, New Mexico. Get your tickets today at airrace.org.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a heat advisory in effect for the whole area today. 105 on the afternoon high, lots of sunshine with high pressure still parked overhead. A few clouds overnight, we're in the low 70s, and then about 100 for the afternoon high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll stay sunny. We do have a quick front moving through on Wednesday night, maybe a shower. Back to sunny and hot weather on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 78 degrees around Roswell Way. And let me tell you, if you got to get it done early because it is going to be another scorcher around Roswell. Humidity is at 28%, winds out of the west at around 3 miles an hour with a barometer of 30.12 inches and a dew point of 42 degrees. Once again, that heat advisory in effect for today, 104 for the high. It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. Sunny skies, lots of sunshine, winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles an hour. And when that wind does blow, it's going to be hot, dusty wind in your face. So enjoy that. For tonight, partly cloudy, getting down to 72 for the overnight low. Winds out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Then for your Wednesday, sunny skies, it's going to be hot again. But I do have a little bit of good news. This might all change, card subject to change. But for the next couple of days, we actually do have double-digit heat. It's still going to be hot, but it's double digits. 99 for the high tomorrow. Winds out of the north, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Then for Wednesday night, it gets complicated. A chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight, then a slight chance of showers. Some of those storms could be severe. Mostly cloudy, getting down to about 70 degrees. Winds out of the north 10 to 15 miles an hour, becoming north 5 to 10 after midnight. Your chance of rain for Wednesday night is 40%, but that all goes away on Thursday. Mostly sunny, back up to 97 for the high. Once again, double digits. So good news there. And then a 50% chance of the wet stuff coming down on Thursday night. Showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight. Mostly cloudy, getting down to 69 for the overnight low. For your Friday, sunny, 97. Mostly clear, 71 for your football Friday night. And then back to triple digits just in time for the weekend. Sunny and 101 for Saturday. 101 once again for Sunday. And 100 for the high on Monday. 19 minutes after 7 o'clock, let us pause and get you up to date with your Roswell Livestock Auction update report from yesterday's sale. That And then we'll also pay a couple of these bills. After these, we'll be sitting down with the folks from Eastern New Mexico Medical Center on the other side of this on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Hey, Brady Sosa here with Richland Motors. Our end of summer truck deals are here. Get 1.9% for 60 months on GMC Sierra 1500s or 0% interest for 60 months on Chevy Silverado 1500s. Or take advantage of over $10,000 off on select Chevy Silverado 1500s. Are you looking to lower your payment? Ask us how you can lease a new Chevy Silverado 1500 for under $600 a month. So run, don't walk to Richland Motors on the corner of 2nd and Sycamore. We're right on the corner, right on the price.
On approved credit, lease eligibility may vary. Expires August 31st. See dealer for details.
People are often surprised by what they find here. More expertise than people expect. Advanced technology. Board-certified physicians. Care you might expect to travel hours for. Right here. We've never believed where you live should determine the care you receive. Close to family, close to home. We're here. Artesia General Hospital.
Start your journey towards a meaningful healthcare career with the Occupational Therapy Assistant Program at ENMU Roswell. With this program, you'll gain hands-on clinical skill development, enjoy small class sizes and supportive faculty, engage in real-world fieldwork experiences, and prepare for your NBCOT certification. Call 575-624-7266 to learn more or log on to roswell.enmu.edu. ENMU Roswell. Success starts here.
Good morning. This is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 1,051 head of cattle sold on Monday on the lower market with excellent buyer attendance. Compared to last week, stocker calves, feeder cattle $15 to $25 lower. Packer cows and bulls $5 to $10 lower. 3 to 400 pound steers $4.35, $5.15. 3 to 400 pound heifers $4 1/4, $4.75. 4 to 500 pound steers $4.05, $4.35. 4 to 500 pound heifers $3.67, $4 1/4. 5 to 600 pound steers $3.50, $4.05. 5 to 600 pound heifers $3.37, $3.67. 6 to 700 pound steers $3.35, $3.50. 6 to 700 pound heifers $3, $3.37. 7 to 800 pound steers $2.75, $3.35. 7 to 800 pound heifers $2.50. $3.12. Packer cows $165, $173. Canner and cutter cows $160, $167. Packer bulls $188, $198. Feeder bulls $170, $180. Top half the cow-calf pairs $3,700 to $4,200 per pair. Top half the bred cows $2,700 to $3,100 per head. We do appreciate the business, and let's pray for some rain. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 23 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning without Mike Winters. And joining us in studio this morning, Warren Yell, the CEO of Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, as well as Dr. Barry Cromer, the new orthopedic surgeon at Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, and Diane Wright, nurse practitioner. How are y'all doing this morning?
Good morning. Doing well.
Good morning.
Great. Good to hear. It's second day of another complicated and very long week. I think the routines are finally kind of starting to set in for parents. The kids, getting back to school and parents kind of getting back into their routines, the day drinking and all that fun stuff. But we're here today to talk about health and wellness and orthopedic care. So let's talk for a second about the walk-in orthopedic care and Dr. Barry Cromer. First of all, Dr. Cromer, what brought you to Roswell?
Changing jobs, and okay. I've known Warren for 5 years or so and reached out to him, and he just happened to have a position available.
There you go. Excellent. So tell us a little bit about your history in medicine and where you've been that brought you here.
Well, I actually started off in Ruidoso, New Mexico in 1994, and I was there for 5 years until I got married and moved down to El Paso. Raised 2 children down there, and then practiced in El Paso for 20-plus years, and then was in Las Cruces for 5 years, and then here I am.
So you just sort of been bouncing all over southeastern New Mexico for a good long while.
I love New Mexico.
It is a beautiful place to be. There's the thing that I love about southeastern New Mexico is just the fact that you could go 2 hours and be in a completely different climate. You could drive for, like 2.5 hours and be at Sitting Bull Falls and be amongst, just beautiful scenery. You could drive a couple hours and be in the mountains with the cool pines. It's right here in Roswell. We're like the hub of all the activity, and it's really a great place to be. So let's talk a little bit about your specialties. You are an orthopedic surgeon, correct?
Yes, orthopedics. I do general orthopedics, but orthopedics as itself is a specialty and deal with bones and joints. So any type of fractures, joint problems, arthritis, spine problems, back problems, pretty much cover everything. When people go to the ER, 20% of the ER visits are orthopedic.
Right.
People sprains, strains, fractures. So
a lot of rolled ankles. We several years ago we had an event here. I think they sort of still do it under a new name, but it was a flag football tournament, and it brought people in from all over the country. And I was talking to a doctor at the time. He said that weekend they see more treatments for ankles and sprains than any other weekend in the entire year here in Roswell. So it's definitely a place that your services are absolutely needed.
Yeah, we actually put Dr. Cromer on the front lines during this year's event. He actually came and joined us, and actually is a little bit of an athlete himself. He has a little bit of a storied history. I'll let him tell that story if he wants. Sure. But and then Dr. Cromer is also very passionate about the sports medicine part. Okay. We've reached out to all the different school systems, ISD, NIMI, et cetera, and really has made himself accessible for the student athletes as well.
Yeah, and like we said, the football season kicking off. We're now going into week 2. It's the busy season for your services for sure. So tell us a little bit about your history with sports medicine and what brings your interest into that.
Well, obviously a lot of people go into orthopedics just because they like sports and sports medicine, the associated injuries. But I think what Warren's referring to is my college career. I played football at Stanford with John Elway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and in 1982, I don't know if you remember the play, but
I've heard
the big game end of the year between Berkeley and Stanford was being played at Berkeley, and in the last 5 seconds, we kicked a field goal and went up 20-19.
Oh, wow.
And they left 4 or 5 seconds on the clock, which was a mistake. So we had to kick off, and there was one last kickoff, and they did a squib kick because they didn't want to kick deep to their best running back.
Right.
And there were subsequently 5 laterals and 2 bands on the field and thousands of people, and they lateraled the ball 5 times and ran over a trombone player as they entered the final touchdown, and they went ahead and won. But
so what you're telling me is you were this close from not sitting here today. You're this close from being like at the top of the Four Seasons right now, enjoying your retirement.
Yeah, it would have been nice, but no, I don't think that would have happened either way. But it did knock us out of going to a bowl game in Hawaii.
Oh,
and so that. And John Elway, he never went to a bowl game when he was in college, and went on played at Denver, and obviously became MVP of everything.
That's crazy. So, well, you miss all the 100% of the shots you don't take, as Gretzky once said. But well, it's good that you left that time on the clock because that brought you here. And it's like I told I was telling my kid's mom the other day. I was watching a game, and she's like, the game's over. I'm like, there's 13 seconds on the clock. That is an eternity.
That's right.
There's
Never
so
leave
much
early.
that can happen.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, obviously, like we said, the busy season with sports medicine, but Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, they have a ton of amazing services. And let's chat for a minute with Miss Diane Wright, the nurse practitioner at Eastern New Mexico Medical Center.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about what got you into medicine and sort of your areas of expertise.
Hi. Yes. So first of all, I want to say thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
So yeah, initially I was going to be a teacher, then got placed in a daycare, and then I found out really quick that I didn't want to be a teacher.
I was going to be early childhood education in college, and they put me in the practicum in the child development center. And yes, you learn real quick, this is not for me.
Yes. So then I needed a job, so I initially started as a CNA.
Okay.
And then I went back to school, did my prerequisites as a nurse. I went to Western New Mexico University.
Okay.
It's in Silver City, if no one knows. Got my bachelor's
Beautiful
there.
campus, by the way.
Yeah, and then I started working in Los Cruces in the ER room at Memorial, and then I just kind of bounced around there. So I went to also, it's called Gerald Champion. I don't know if it's called still that. And I worked there as a ER nurse, and then I decided I just needed to further my education, went to school at Walden University, and then got my master's in nurse practitioner.
So what is, for dumb people like me, what is the difference between a nurse and a nurse practitioner?
Basically just a bachelor's and a master's.
Okay.
And doing more of the clinical practice.
Gotcha.
We can't, in the state of New Mexico, so every state's very different, but in the state of New Mexico, a nurse practitioner can have their own clinic.
Okay.
They could run their own practice.
Gotcha. Okay. So you could break away at any time and start your own thing. Warning.
Which I wouldn't.
Of course not. We got we have to retain the best people, and that's what it's all about. So, well, very cool. So, I was actually going to ask if you'd gotten your education here, because I know that in addition to a fantastic early childhood education program at Eastern, they also have a fantastic nursing program, or they have in previous years. I dated a nurse while I was in college. That I never saw her. I think we met twice. Our initial date, and then the date where we finally decided to end it. That was like a year later. A couple phone calls, but other than that, they keep you busy in the nursing program.
Most definitely.
So as an ER nurse, that's a lot of a high stress situation. That's obviously dealing with trauma and screaming people. And I live in Roswell, so I know a lot of cursing. What's the experience like for you, and how do you deal with that at the moment, just life or death stress?
Oh God.
Heavy question, I know.
I think it's an instinct that kicks in, and you just have to, whatever situation, you just have to react to it. But most importantly, take care of the patient, take care of the family, take care of yourself as well. It just kicks in, like, the training that they give you, and you're not alone. You have your coworkers there with you. So it's, I don't know.
Maintaining a cool demeanor when all that's happening. It's like, I feel like I could, if worse come to worse, I could be a regular nurse, but I don't think I could do ER. I think that's a step too far. I could totally nurse for someone like you. But so excellent. So now, in addition to the amazing nurses they have there, the doctors, tell me a little bit more about some of the programs that Eastern offers, and why folks should rely on Eastern for their medical care.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So our goal at Eastern is to be the comprehensive healthcare for them in Southeast New Mexico for any patient. What that means is everything from the outpatient clinics, and that's really where Dr. Cromer and Diane and the walk-in urgent care of our orthopedic program is there to give people that ready access outside of the ER. The ER is always there 24/7. We're there to take care of your bumps and sprains and all the major things that happen as well, but there's a lot of people don't realize this. There's almost 28 to 30 providers that work with us. We see 80,000 clinic visits on an annual basis outside of the hospital. And so the best care is preventative care. It's when it's low acuity. It's when you have that ache or soreness or something that's been bothering you for a little while. It's always better to get that checked out before you get to the position where you have to come to the ER. And then at that point, we're all kind of, I like to think of us as Humpty Dumpty's men. Our job is put you back together again and give you another shot out there. But it's always easier to get to it on the front end, be preventative rather than deal with that emergency situation.
Now, I agree with you in theory. I, however, subscribe to the Jim Henson "let's see what happens" school of thought.
Sure.
It's probably not doing myself any favors. It's definitely something I'm working on for myself. Focusing on getting front end medical care and not dealing with it when it's a crisis. But you're absolutely right. This is something that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to, is the early warning signs. They're always there, and it's a situation where it at least there should be a visit, there should be a check, there should go talk to a professional, go talk to somebody. And Eastern is a great group because they have so many different specialties and so many areas of care that it's sort of like you have 16 things that are coming your way, and there's Eastern is that into the pipeline where they're like, you go here, you go here, you go here, and it's a real triage situation. And I think that you guys do a fantastic job with that.
One comment Dr. Cromer made earlier is, to his point, he's a general orthopedic surgeon, and so he has a very broad scope. Pretty much anything with a bone in it, outside the teeth, he has got some sort of expertise in. And then, really, for those things that may be a little bit more subspecialized, he's trained, he's triage, he can get you, and he takes a lot of pride, and we all take a lot of pride in getting you to that next level of care to the best of our ability. And so even if you're not sure what's going on, Dr. Cromer and the orthopedic clinic is there to kind of help you get figured out and then help you get to that road to recovery, whatever that might be, whether it's with us or with one of our tertiary partners out there.
Excellent. So, and that's that's absolutely important. And like we mentioned, we're a very active community. Southeastern New Mexico is a very active area. And having this specialty right here in our own backyard, that's fantastic. No, you don't have to go elsewhere to treat these specific strains, rolled ankles, things of that nature. I know for a fact I can no longer wear stilettos because I just roll my ankles too much. It's a real hassle. It's really limited my footwear options.
There you go.
And I think in general, for people that haven't been to the doctor and never want to go, but think that maybe it's time. If you're just limping around or having some type of joint pain, even if it's not specifically an orthopedic issue, you can come into our office and we can, we have all the facilities and x-rays and evaluations and we can direct you in the right area if it's something that's not going to be orthopedic or it's beyond our capacity here. We would always refer you out to the appropriate people. And then, people that aren't hooked up with PCPs, primary doctors, we can arrange for that as well. And a lot of people just don't know where to turn. Just even going to urgent care that we have, they can then be transferred over to us the same day. And that frequently happens. They come in and it's too much or they need an orthopedic specialist, and urgent care will send it to us. So if you want to start off at the urgent care, and then they'll be redirected if need be, as well as find a PCP. But for all the people that don't have PCPs, they got to start somewhere.
Do you find you get most of your visits through referrals or through just specific walk-ins for specific?
It's both. We get as Warren said, we have a large base of care providers, and so we'll get a lot of referrals from that base. But then, as I said, 20% of the ER visits end up being orthopedic, so we'll get a lot from that as well. And then there's the high schools and the NEMI and everybody.
Yeah, I think having one of the things that stood out is specifically that you have all of these facilities on site. You have X-rays. You have the ability to not have to send out to a specialist, not have to send out to specialties, and that's been something that, especially here in Roswell in the past, I didn't live here my whole life, but I've been here since high school, and knowing that when you go to when you visited your doctor, it was always, well, you need to go here and get your X-ray, you need to go here and get this, and go here and get that. Having all of that in one facility, I think is so convenient, and I think that's what makes the difference between other folks is here. Yeah, you've got choices, but in this scenario, you don't have to send them out, to 13 different places. You can just knock it all out in one visit.
One of the benefits we have too is we have what's called an integrated EMR, or electronic medical record, and so Dr. Cromer actually has the ability to see if you see one of the primary care doctors or a GI physician or whatever it may be within our system. There's a little bit more continuity between all that care as it rotates through. Couple things I want to just quickly highlight. The best way I kind of always try to summarize orthopedics is mobility is life. And so to Dr. Cromer's point, you've been, my knee hurts, my hip's been hurting for 6 years, I don't get up as much. It doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's very much one of those downward spirals that then all of a sudden your diabetes gets worse, your CHF gets worse, your COPD gets worse. It's the body is made to be in motion, and any time that you stop moving, it really does have all these other detrimental effects. And so the goal with Dr. Cromer in the orthopedic world is really just get ahead of that. Hey, let's talk about it before it gets to the point where all your other comorbidities, is the term we use a lot in the clinical world, kind of get ahead of you, and it becomes a much more complicated surgery or a complicated fix.
I'm glad you guys didn't see me walk in today, because I'm a walking example of that. I spent most of my young adult life not really taking care of my body. I've been hit by a truck. I didn't choose that one. But I used to be a photographer for young children, and I used to throw myself on the floor to make kids smile. And as a result, I'm only in my early 40s. I have my hips, I don't know if they slip out of place a lot. I have knee issues. Specifically, I was at an event about a year and a half ago, and I squatted down on my knees to get down to a table level, and I heard a pop in my knee. Oh. And I've basically just been dealing with it ever since because I don't have doctor money. But this is a situation where it's one of those things where if you have a situation, you have to prioritize that situation over everything else, because if you don't, it's not going to get better. Yeah. Body doesn't just bounce back like it used to. We're not made of rubber like we were when we were teens. And so, preventative care is absolutely the best answer for that, for sure. So go see Dr. Cromer. He'll get you back to ship shape. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you here in the near future. I know I've done a lot of complaining during this interview, but it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. So tell us a little bit about if folks want to come see you, hours of operation, when can they come see you?
Yeah, well, basically we're going to be open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I'm operating on 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. That's where I should be right now. But if I'm not there, Diane will be there, and she'll be able to triage things and take care of things. And then, as we said, we have a walk-in clinic, so if there's an emergency and you don't even have an appointment, you can just walk in. Mm-hmm. But you can call the office number and make an appointment. And Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, we see patients all day long. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the busy time.
Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 to 11, and then the afternoon session is from 1 to 4. If you want to schedule an appointment, again, walk-ins are welcome, but if you want to schedule an appointment, you can always get a hold of the office. They are at 300 West Country Club, and the phone number is 575-625-2669 if you want more information. They gave me a cheat sheet.
There you go.
So anything that we missed, anything you guys want to specifically hit on or focus on?
Yeah. So a couple things I just want to kind of highlight. One, we're super excited to have Diane with us. By the way, she has been with us a total of 3 weeks. So
wow.
So she's brand new to Roswell.
Thank
you. So her and her family have relocated here to Roswell, and so we're super excited to have her on board. And then I know we talked a bit about her ER background, but she's actually worked several years in primary care and urgent care type settings as well. Okay. And so orthopedics is a new chapter, but all that ER, primary care, urgent care it all has prepared her to kind of be here with Dr. Cromer and really help us expand our capacity for that clinic.
When you've spent time in the trenches, it's a more settled down environment is a little easier to deal with. But when it gets stressful, we know that you can handle it.
Oh yes. Yes, of course.
Because you've been down that road before.
And I would like to also say that I also speak Spanish. So it's a bilingual orthopedic clinic. Mm-hmm. So if people out there listening are afraid because they don't speak Spanish, come on over. I will be glad to help you guys.
And if you want to go ahead and let people know in Spanish.
Oh, si necesitan tratamiento para un ortopédico, vengan a ver a Dr. Cromer y Diane Wright a la clínica, por favor.
Good. Well, see, in my line of work, we always just say "se habla español." It saves us time. Seconds are cash for us, so we got to tighten it up. But I like that.
Yeah. And I have 2 other updates, if it's okay, really quickly. I wanted to also let, in addition to Diane, which we're super excited to have her talents and skills here with us in Roswell, we actually have 2 additional doctors who have started with us. Dr. De La Torre, who also speaks Spanish. She's a new general surgeon who joined us literally last Wednesday. Oh, wow. And so now, a lot of people talk about the recruitment train. We actually recruited her over a year ago.
Really?
Signed the contract, got her situated, everything else, and it just literally takes that long to get a doctor from their programs over into our facilities here. So she's coming to us from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Actually has roots from Ecuador, so it's super exciting. Got a little bit of that South American flair, and she does speak Spanish as well. So we're super excited. Yeah, right. And then we have one additional provider who just started this week as well, Dr. Lyo. She's coming to us from Albuquerque. She'll be helping us in our ENT clinic, ear, nose, and throat. That's been a challenging service line for us for years. And Dr. Lyle brings a wealth of expertise, actually Harvard trained. And she'll be working with Rachel Wilson, who has been a mainstay in our market for, I want to say, about 4 or 5 years now, maybe in kind of on 6. So a lot of great things happening in August. It always seems to happen in phases. So what happens in August? Well, you have the school system and people starting new jobs and people coming out of training. And so there's always a lot of activity happening at Eastern between August and September.
So you've done a fantastic job as far as recruiting goes. I mean, just some of the folks you've been bringing in, the talents that they have. What's the recruitment process like? Do you send out feelers, or do you get more people sending you resumes and things like that?
Right. If I had the secret sauce, I'd let you know. I will tell you, Roswell is one of those, I think it's an incredible community. I always say my family's thriving in Roswell, and we really do love it here. But for what it's worth, when you look at a national scale, everyone's competing for the same talent pool.
Sure.
There's not enough doctors, and not enough providers and nurses, and pretty much anything in healthcare at this point. So one of the biggest challenges we try to find is how do we make our facility and our community stand out. I work a lot with our community partners, bringing together all those quality of life items. That could be the museums, the movie theaters, what do the school systems look like. I work very closely with ISD and NIMI and all the other programs to try to make them have a great quality of life in addition, because there's more than just work, right? The hospital and the patients and the providers, that typically sells itself. We have an incredible hospital with great providers and a great, I'll just be frank, pathology is the term you'll sometimes hear used in healthcare. We deal with sick people. And so doctors like to be challenged. They like to feel the difference they're making. Roswell is one of those communities. I call it a Christmas card community, meaning the patients become very possessive of them. Like, that's my doctor.
Right.
I see them at Chili's. That's my doctor. And so the way I kind of look at that is that typically sells itself. It's how do I spend a lot more time on the family, the social structure. How do I try to make this as appealing as possible to work it through? I say in general, you try to do the best to put our best foot forward. Sure. We try to make it look like a hyper appealing community, which we are. And then a lot of it is, like, for example, tomorrow, Dr. Pinion and I will be traveling up to UNM to go to a primary care conference. You have to be at the table. You have to travel to where the physicians are. And so, unfortunately, in New Mexico, that means we're often on the road, a lot of windshield time. But where those students are being trained and where that future generation of doctors and providers are being taken care of, that's where we spend a lot of our time working with our community partners. I'll be in Las Cruces on Saturday. I'll be in Albuquerque tomorrow. So it's a lot of windshield time to try to sell our message.
And that's something that I think is vital, because you hear a lot of talk about the brain drain issue that we have amazing students here, some amazing minds and that have been educated. And then they leave for greater opportunities for parts unknown, and we lose those minds. And so it's important to kind of bring as many talented people as we can back into the fold. And I think that you guys do a great job of that.
So another major recruitment thing, and I'll just do a quick plug for the Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine. I think they just changed their name slightly. But for what it's worth, we've been working with the Burrell medical students, third-year medical students out of Las Cruces. We have at any time have anywhere from 13 to 15 students that live in Roswell for a full year, 12 months. And so at the end of that 12 months, they're early in their journey. So they still have 5 to 7 years, I call it incubation, but they have 5 to 7 years of training and residency and things like that. But they've lived in our community. They know Dr. Cromer. They know the physician. They know the medical staff. They know the attendings they'll be working with, and so they're much more likely. We signed their charter in 2015. We had our first students in 2018-19. We have now hired 4 doctors from that program, Dr. Miller, Dr. Fuccineri's husband and wife, and Dr. Oh my gosh, it just fell out of my head. I'm going to get in trouble for this one. Dr. Menemont, who will be joining us in the ER next year. But for what it's worth, I say all that to say 13 to 15 students. If we recruit 1 to 2 students a year from each of these classes, and it's a 7-year incubation period. But when you talk about recruitment, I'm talking about 7-year increments. I'm not talking about what are we going to hire next month. It really is a long-term planning strategy. You have to grow your own.
I was going to say you have to plant a seed and kind of let it germinate and do its thing. Absolutely. Yep. So again, if folks want more information, reach out to the Walk-In Orthopedic Clinic with Dr. Barry Cromer, and the phone number is 575-625-2669, or stop by. Again, walk-ins are welcome at 300 West Country Club, Suite 130. Well, Doctor, and everybody, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate having you guys here. And next time you have anything going on or just want to introduce some new faces. Come on back to us.
We'll be back for sure.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you guys
very
so
much.
Thank you.
11 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Let us get you up to date with some news.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Today is a day the other shoe will drop in the U.S. trade dispute with Canada. The Canadians are expected to announce their response to President Trump's 50% tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Canadian goods. Treasury Secretary Bessent says President Trump has been working the phones, talking with Iran's trading partners, urging them to sever all economic ties with the Islamic Republic. A defiant Tehran insists that Iran is used to sanctions and has a 2-year plan to weather this latest round. The Trump administration is set to revoke the student and business visas of up to 200,000 asylum seekers. A State Department spokesman says they're foreigners who have entered the country claiming to be short-term visitors but then file for asylum to stay permanently. And firefighting crews slowly getting a handle on the massive wildfire near Reno, Nevada. This is SRN News.
I was walking through a mall in Los Angeles, and I stopped at the Tesla store. Standing right there in the window, an Optimus robot, display only. But about this time next year, Elon Musk says you'll be able to buy one for $20,000 to $30,000. And once production ramps up, that price drops fast. Here's the kicker. While I was staring at Elon's mannequin, China was showing off the real deal. I'm Kim Commando for ExpressVPN. With one click, ExpressVPN keeps your online activity private and secure. Get 4 extra months at expressvpn.com/Kim. This past weekend at the second World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing, a robot called Tiangong Ultra ran a 100-meter dash in 9.39 seconds. So how fast is that? Well, it beat Usain Bolt, the fastest man on Earth, by 0.2 of a second. In sprinting, that's not a photo finish, it's a blowout. And if we're not careful, the first humanoid robot in your living room will say, "Made in China." Get more updates like this in your inbox every morning with my free newsletter at getkim.com. AI is changing the world, and there's no question it's making technology smarter. But it's also making it so much easier for companies to learn more about you through your online activity. Websites you visit, searches you run, and the apps you use can reveal more about you than you realize. That's where a VPN comes in, like ExpressVPN. It encrypts your internet connection to help keep your personal information more secure online. Whether you're checking email or shopping online, ExpressVPN works quietly in the background, and it's easy to use. One tap on your phone, laptop, desktop, or tablet, and you're connected. Plus, one subscription now covers up to 14 devices at once. That's enough to protect your entire household. Best of all, it comes with a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee. Take your online privacy seriously with ExpressVPN. Right now, you can get 4 extra months by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. expressvpn.com/Kim.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 8 minutes away from 8 o'clock. I just got an update from Brian Luck, the superintendent of Roswell Independent School District. He wanted me to let you know that due to a water leak in the neighborhood, all classes at Roswell High are canceled for today. So congratulations, Coyotes. You got yourself a Tuesday off. But water leak in the neighborhood. All classes at Roswell High have been canceled for today. So if you're heading to Roswell High, or if you're wondering why the bus didn't show up, that's probably why. And so I want to make sure we let everybody in the sound of my voice know that, yes, classes at Roswell High are canceled for today. With that in mind, let us get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a heat advisory in effect for the whole area today. 105 on the afternoon high, lots of sunshine with high pressure still parked overhead. Few clouds overnight, we're in the low 70s, and then about 100 for the afternoon high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll stay sunny. We do have a quick front moving through on Wednesday night, maybe a shower, back to sunny and hot weather on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales. A veteran who most fans and media had written off at the start of camp had a huge game in Saturday's win at Arizona. Was it enough to survive final roster cuts this weekend? We'll hear from Jonathan Mingo after this.
Cowboys Nation is big because everything's bigger in Texas.
And Reliant has the energy to power it all. From home field advantage to home sweet home, Reliant has Dallas Cowboys fans all across the Lone Star State covered. For every electric moment this season and beyond. Reliant, proud to be the official energy provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Reliant, PUCT number 10007.
Game on, and so is SWBC. We've got home loan options tailored to fit your needs. Need a partner for payroll, HR, and employee benefits? Done. And whether it's time to grow your business or buy a new home, our team is right there in your corner because SWBC is your partner for your family, for your business, for your wins. Forward together. Visit SWBC.com. SWBC Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 9741. Check licensing at www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
In his final week of Cowboys training camp, the battle for the final roster spot at wide receiver may come down to rookie Camden Brown or veteran Jonathan Mingo, whose career has been underwhelming since Dallas acquired him in a trade midway through the 2024 season. The former Ole Miss star had never scored a touchdown as a pro, including preseason, until Saturday night's 34-13 win over the Cardinals. It came on a perfect pass from Joe Milton, and Mingo knew the ball was coming his way once he stepped in the huddle.
When Joe came in the huddle, he just told the O-line, y'all block long enough, it's going to be a touchdown, I promise you. I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to hit, Joe.
Tonight's the first of 2 evening practices open to the public here at the Star in Frisco. Then the preseason finale is Friday, hosting the Saints. With the Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Ontario Premier Doug Ford said that Ronald Reagan would, quote, be throwing up over President Donald Trump's trade policies. And Ford threatened to cut off electricity and critical minerals to the United States as Trump escalated the trade fight. Trump said Monday that the new 50% tariffs on Canadian automobiles, auto parts, and steel would begin next year. The U.S. is widening sanctions on Iran, unveiling an expansion of sanctions that it said would cut off Iran's economic lifeline, putting the world on notice to cease doing business with the Islamic Republic. Wall Street will get key updates this week on closely watched measures for consumer confidence and inflation. The latest consumer confidence report from the business group, the Conference Board, will be released today. Wall Street expects the report to show that confidence in the U.S. economy fell again in August. The United States reopened a border crossing in Arizona to cattle from Mexico as part of a broader effort by the Trump administration to reduce record-high beef prices. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Hey, Roswell, time is running out to cash in on some of the biggest savings of the season. The loan and lease termination sales event is happening right now at Roswell Ford. Drive away with a truckload of savings in a brand new Ford F-Series pickup with financing as low as 0% APR and make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early? Roswell Ford will do whatever it takes to get you out of your trade, even if you owe up to $10,000 more than it's worth. Have less than perfect credit? Roswell Ford works with a network of aggressive lenders that will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Get on board at Roswell Ford during our loan and lease termination event and get huge savings on all new F-Series trucks, America's top-selling pickup in each of the past 49 years. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand finance on F-150 trucks. Excludes Raptor. Interest accrues from date of sale. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
At Martine's Capital Cafe, come in and enjoy a delicious variety for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Try our burritos, huevos rancheros, asado, chorizo, sausage, flantas, fajitas, chili rellenos, quesadillas, enchiladas, sopapillas, and don't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger and so much more. Everything is prepared with the finest and freshest ingredients. Martine's Capital Cafe. Quality, value, tradition, and the most delicious New Mexican food since 1989. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th Street in Roswell.
I was driving home from work.
I was heading out to meet my friends.
I was thinking about what I would make for dinner.
I was just changing the station on my radio.
I was checking my cell phone.
I was only trying to change lanes.
I never saw him.
I never saw him. I never saw that motorcycle.
Until it was too late.
Unfortunately, sometimes drivers don't notice motorcycles on the road until it's too late. Be aware. Always look for motorcycles, because it's their road too.
Sponsored by NMDOT and aired in cooperation with the NMBA and this station.
If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, potato, and an onion. Unless you open your eyes. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. Closing in on 8 o'clock. Remember, if you missed any portion of today's program, you can always go back and check it out in its entirety over at ksvptv.com. Hey, stay tuned, because next hour we're going to be sitting down chatting with the folks from the National Championship Air Races. Fred Telling, the CEO of the races, and he's going to let us know everything we've got in store for this year, the second year of the National Championship Air Races. It's going to be big. It's going to be better than ever. And we'll talk about it next hour right here. So stick around. Town Hall News up next on A Morning Without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Today is the day the other shoe will drop in the U.S. trade dispute with Canada. The Canadians are expected to announce their response to President Trump's 50% tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Canadian goods. The president, meanwhile, says he's considering renaming Lake Ontario to Lake America as the trade dispute deepens. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the president's been working the phones. He's been talking with Iran's trading partner.
The president is making phone calls to world leaders with specific requests to cease their interaction with the regime. We are already seeing results.
As a defiant Iran responds to the Trump administration's declaration of economic war.
Iran's finance minister Ali Madanazida said sanctions were not new to his country and that it had a 2-year plan to deal with the latest ones. Iran's security chief Mohsen Rezai threatened on social media that not a single drop of oil would be exported from the region. The U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that banks, businesses and countries that dealt with Iran would share its isolation if they refused to cut ties. Iran's largest trading partners include China, Turkey and the United Arab Emirates, which announced last week it was halting all trade and financial transactions with Tehran.
The BBC's Yolande Nell. The Trump administration is set to revoke the student and business visas of up to 200,000 asylum seekers. A State Department spokesman says they're foreigners who have entered the country claiming to be short-term visitors but then file for asylum to stay permanently. Firefighting crews are slowly getting a handle on the massive Hawk fire near Reno, Nevada. 27% containment, no new fire growth being reported. On Wall Street, the Dow 25 points higher. The Nasdaq is up 163. More on these stories at townhall.com.
With the high price of new and used cars today, many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223. 800-303-4223.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
A once thriving farming community on the outskirts of Haiti's capital is the latest target of gang violence, with residents attacked, their homes burned to the ground.
Wails filled the air in Penskop as survivors found the bodies of friends and family strewn on the streets. One man flung himself on the side of the road and cried as people around him picked up bodies wrapped in blood-spattered sheets. Robert Jean says he heard shooting before dawn and tried to wake everyone up, only to find out his brother was killed. The mayor blames the attack on members of Vive Ensemble, which the U.S. government designates as a foreign terrorist organization. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The Kremlin is condemning Britain's plans to share data on long-range missile technology with Ukraine and to help Ukraine with missile production. At the same time, though, Russia has turned to its allies, including North Korea and China, for support as it wages war on Ukraine. News and analysis, townhall.com. It's that time of year again.
Of course, we're referring to everyone's favorite time of the year, Fat Marmot Week. Now, last winter, it was a tough time for the little groundhog-like rodents in the Colorado mountains, Some of them froze to death, sorry to say, but the survivors are doing well. They've really fattened up. No Weight Watchers for them, gaining the critical weight they need to make it through the next winter. Marmot researchers, yes, there really are people who are marmot researchers, are launching an online contest just so you can vote for your very favorite marmot. Jason Walker reporting.
Australia's recording industry says tracks wholly generated by AI will be barred from official music charts. The move comes as the technology threatens artists' livelihoods. An AI-infused song recently spent 16 weeks on the charts in Australia. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. Let's have a listen. What does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2 of the morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy welcome to the second day of the rest of your life, second day of the work week, second day of the school week. And just a reminder, in case you missed me saying it last hour of the program, due to a water leak in the neighborhood, all classes at Roswell High have been canceled. That, according to the Super Nintendo of Roswell Independent School District, Superintendent Chalmers, our own Brian Luck, he let us know that the school classes are canceled for Roswell High for the rest of today. So enjoy your Tuesday off. Those are always the best kind of free days, like when you wake up and you've resigned yourself and okay, I'm going to get ready, I'm going to go start my day, and then fate just gives you a little gift, or a water main breaks, and you don't have to deal with class for that day. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that those of you who are in sports, you're probably still going to have practice at some point during the day. Even if it's not at Roswell High, it's probably going to happen because, let's face it, the Roswell Coyotes, they started their season with a slobber knocker, and boy howdy was it a big one. A 64-60 win over the Eagles of Hobbs to kickstart the season for your Roswell Coyotes. And the season continues on this Friday. Your Roswell Coyotes are going to be crossing the Texas border, heading over to the Lone Star State to take on Randall High in Canyon, Texas, which is just outside of Amarillo, and the Raiders of Randall High. Now, that game, because it's going to be in Central Time, is going to be pregame 5:30, kickoff at 6 o'clock. And you can hear that game and see that game at ksvptv.com. As for your Goddard Rockets, they're home at the Wool Bowl this week, taking on the Cavemen of Carlsbad, the victors in last week's battle for Eddy County over the Artesia Bulldogs. So the Cavemen traveling to the Wool Bowl to take on the Rockets. And that game with the pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock. You can hear that game right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. And you can see that game at ksvptv.com. Just click on the Goddard Rockets tab and you can check that game out in its entirety. As for your Artesia Bulldogs, if you folks are interested in the Bulldog Country story, this is an interesting one because they started their season 0-1, and they're going to be taking on the Eagles of Hobbs, the same team that took Roswell High to the brink last week. So it's probably going to be another high-scoring game. It's probably going to be another battle of defenses, and it's going to be interesting to see how things play out for this Friday. And again, that game happening in Hobbs. The Bulldogs are on the road for that game. You can hear that game on AM 990 and 93.7 FM KSVP, if I can talk. And you can see that game over at ksvptv.com. So get ready for Football Friday, week number 2. It's coming, and it's coming for you. Hey, I wanted to real quickly tell you about this. We live in a very complicated world. And I know a lot of folks there's been a lot of talk about, what is security over privacy? And yes, that's important. I think that more often than not, we need to focus less on community security, which is important, but definitely protecting our own. That's right, protect what matters most. And Zenith Security Services, they can help you do just that. They're your local trusted security service since 1998. Since way back in the 1900s, kids. Dang. So choosing a local provider, it means immediate expert support. You're not having to wait weeks or months for some guy from some facility or another alarm company to come make a trip to Roswell just to service your equipment. Zenith offers top-of-the-line residential and business alarm systems and UL-rated monitoring, cutting-edge surveillance cameras, as well as home theater systems and IT services. You can experience reliable, full-service security solutions right here at home. Call Zenith Security Services 575-626-3521 today, or you can check them out online. Just look up Zenith Security on Google. That's how you can learn more about solutions to protect your home and business. Zenith Security Services, 575-626-3521. I couldn't help but kind of giggle just a little bit. This last hour, we had the folks from Eastern New Mexico Medical Center on, Dr. Cromer, and as well as Warren Yell, the CEO, and the nurse practitioner, Miss Diane Wright. While we had the folks from Eastern here, Mixmaster Mike and Miss Kim are there. It's just we swapped places. They did the old switcheroo because I'm right here in the captain's chair because Mixmaster Mike Winters is out taking care of his lovely wife, Kim, who is getting a procedure done today. And he'll be back here tomorrow to tell you all about it. It's none of my business, so I'm not going to... get into the nitty gritty of it all. We'll just leave it at it's a process and it's a procedure that is routine. It's run of the mill and it's one that Mike's had on a couple of different occasions. It'll be interesting to see what Kim has a craving for after, because every time Mike's had this procedure done, he's always talked about it. As soon as he gets out, as soon as he starts coming out of anesthesia, one thing he is hungry. Because bear in mind, Kim hasn't been able to eat anything since basically yesterday morning. She's had to be on a complete fast. She could have ice pops, nothing red, nothing purple, which I guess kind of makes sense in the long run. But, and then having to consume this interesting concoction that helps the procedure go a little smoother. We'll leave it at that. But Kim will be nice and hungry, and I'm sure Mike will give us a report on what she was craving and where they scratch that itch as soon as he's back in the captain's chair tomorrow. But meantime, you got Second Banana Smalls sitting in the captain's chair. This time, I'm feeling a lot better. I understand what Mike's talking about, how he says these headphones, they can get a little hot in here. So I brought a fan. I try to keep this thing with me wherever I go. It's a little thing I picked up on YouTube, on Amazon, and I'll tell you, it was, I'll admit, I have a bit of a problem. I'm a bit of a gearophile. I like going on, seeing what I can get. I've got basically everything for a luxury camp out right now. Just the only thing I lack is the gumption to want to go camping. I could do it if I need to. I just haven't needed to or wanted to yet, but it's really cool. Handy fan, USB-C charging, got a little remote control. It's even, look at this. Got a light on it. Isn't that cool? Look at that. A light. Yeah, that's just handy. You can hang it up. It's like a ceiling fan. But yeah, that'll keep things nice and cool in here. Hopefully, if our guest gets hot this hour, I'll turn it on and oscillate so we can get the air flowing throughout the room. But I digress. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the second day of the rest of your life. Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the program. Coming up here in just a few minutes, we're going to be sitting down chatting with the CEO of the National Championship Air Races, Mr. Fred Telling, telling us all about what we have in store for the 2026 air races. You thought 2025 was a big deal. Just wait till you see what we do next. We'll get into that coming up here in just a few minutes, plus all your other hourly features, which include your national, local news, and whatever else comes our way. Right now, at 14 minutes after 8 o'clock, let us get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a heat advisory in effect for the whole area today. 105 on the afternoon high, lots of sunshine with high pressure still parked overhead. A few clouds overnight, we're in the low 70s, and then about 100 for the afternoon high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll stay sunny. We do have a quick front moving through on Wednesday night, maybe a shower. Back to sunny and hot weather on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
15 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me get this updated here. We are looking at currently 79 degrees around Roswell. Humidity is at 35%, winds out of the north at around 7 miles an hour. Barometer at 20.13 inches with a dew point of 49 degrees. Another scorcher around Roswell. We are under a heat advisory, 104 for the high under mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming south later in the afternoon. And for tonight, partly cloudy, 72 for the overnight low. Winds out of the southwest around 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming northeast later in the evening. For your Wednesday, sunny, hot, high of 99. We are double digits at the very least. I'll take whatever degrees of temperature we can lose at this point. We do have a pretty good chance of rain actually heading into your Wednesday night. 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight, then a slight chance of showers after. Don't worry, sun's coming back out for Thursday, mostly sunny, back up to 97 for the high. But then get this, a 50% chance of the wet stuff for your Thursday night, mostly before midnight. Mostly cloudy, getting down to about 69 for the overnight low. Clouds moving out of the area for your football Friday, 97 for the high, mostly clear, and 71 for Friday night. Then for Saturday and the weekend ahead, back to triple digits, 101 for the high on Saturday and Sunday, and 100 for the high on Monday. 16 minutes after 8 o'clock, going to pay a couple of these bills. And after these, sitting down, chat with Mr. Fred Telling, the CEO of the National Championship Air Races, on the other side of these on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
This lot is stocked. The Summer is Stocked sales event is on now at Roswell Hyundai with great deals on an unbelievable selection of fresh new vehicles. Get 3.49% for up to 60 months and $1,000 in bonus cash on in-stock 26 Kona, 3.49% for 60 and $2,000 in bonus cash on in-stock 26 Elantra, and 0% for 60 and up to $3,000 in dealer choice bonus cash on 26 Tucson SE, plus 0 down and no payments for 90 days. The Summer is Stocked sales event on now at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Teachers are smart and funny. Teachers are cool.
Fulkerson Plumbing and Air Conditioning want to celebrate teachers in the Roswell and Dexter Independent School Districts and need your help. They want to award 3 winning teachers with a $100 Visa gift card and the most nominated teacher a pizza party for their entire class. Log on to Fulkerson's Facebook page, like and share the post, and if possible, tag your favorite teacher's name and school in the comments. Winners will be announced August 26th. Call 622-1600 for more information.
Thank you, teachers.
Roswell Tire and Appliance will beat Home Depot prices on appliances, and they will beat discount tire prices on tires. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. Listen one more time. Roswell Tire and Appliance will beat Home Depot prices, and they will beat discount tire prices. Come into the store for all the details.
This is Wyatt Maloney of Roswell Tire and Appliance, inviting you to shop local and save.
They'll beat Home Depot prices, and they'll beat discount tire prices. 101 South Main. Call 575-213-1362 or go online at RoswellTireandAppliance.com.
When you or a loved one need medical transport, Trans-Aero answers the call. Trans-Aero Medevac operates 3 rotorcraft bases and 1 fixed-wing base in southeastern New Mexico, allowing them to respond quickly to emergencies across diverse terrains. Their fleet extends coverage deep into New Mexico and West Texas, including Artesia, Carlsbad, Roswell, Ruidoso, Midland, Lubbock, and the surrounding areas, ready to answer the call when every second counts. Trans-Aero Medevac, proudly serving southeastern New Mexico and West Texas. Loan for free, thanks to the partnership from the City of Artesia and Trans-Aero Medevac. Life support by air.
You can't hunt camels in Arizona, but you can buy them. They go for about $10 a pack. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 19 minutes after 8 o'clock on this morning without Mike Winters. And joining us in studio this morning, Mr. Fred Telling, the CEO of the National Championship Air Races. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, Mike. I'm doing just great. It's wonderful to see you again.
Well, let me stop you right there. Mixmaster Mike is actually out today. His wife is getting a procedure done. I'm Sean. I'm usually the guy
that's why it's without Mike today.
That's right. I'm usually the guy that sits over in your seat.
All right.
I call myself
thank you, Sean.
Second Banana Smalls is what they call me.
I can't believe that,
but that we are in a very exciting time for Roswell. The second year, I can't remember what they call it, the sophomore season, if you will, for the National Championship Air Races right here in Roswell, New Mexico. So first and foremost, let's talk about the air race itself. It's been a thing for going on 70 years now, almost.
Exactly. Not quite 70, but almost. This will be our 61st. But air racing, unlimited air racing, just to be clear, which is mainly made up of the fast fighters of World War II, basically only began again in 1964. There had been a pause between 49, when an accident at Cleveland stopped unlimited air racing, and the FAA authorized it to restart in north of Reno instead in 1964.
Okay.
For the first couple of years, they actually raced on a long dirt strip, but just like Walker Air Force Base here, was closed in 67.
Sure.
The Stead Air Force Base north of Reno closed in 66.
Okay.
So the races moved there, and it had 3 beautiful runways underneath, the traditional triangle pattern for many of the Air Force bases built in World War II. So we raced there from 1966, straight through till 2023.
Man.
And so we had 57 years of racing instead, 59 years of racing total. 2022 in December, the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority wanted to expand construction on the field. And as you can imagine, over the 50 years, what it used to be in the middle of nowhere was no longer.
It's so funny. I've become that grown up that now points to things at my kids and says that used to be a Tasty Freeze. So it's like, yeah, all these fields and all these areas that were just patches of dirt. So much expansion has happened and commercial expansion, residential expansion, and I have to imagine that over the years watching Reno grow had to be, every year was a new challenge. You had to kind of rework the track, rework for noise issues, and for to make sure that you were within regulations. Every year was a new challenge.
Well, fortunately, Sean, for many of those years, we were still far enough north that it wasn't an issue. And we had the advantage that downtown Reno, as you know, besides being known as the divorce capital for the 1930s.
It's also the biggest little city in the world.
Exactly. Biggest little city is basically a casino-based hotels. You had 5 wonderful hotels there, and it had its own airport. So we had no commercial traffic into the field we raced on. So we were actually fairly isolated for a very long time. But ultimately, in December of 22, the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority told us, gentlemen, 2023 will be the last year we'll give you a race license. So that spring, we started in a search to find a new home.
Sure.
It was really very exciting. We had 38 cities express interest across the country. Of those, 11 came to the bidders' conferences. We held 2 of them. Some of the cities came back twice. In the end, we had 6 cities that put in full requests for proposal, and we toured all of them. Ultimately, the final 3 came down to Casper, Wyoming, Pueblo, Colorado, and Roswell.
And this is sort of where Roswell became aware of what was happening. We're like, wait, what's this now? A championship air race potentially coming to Roswell?
That was when the first news started, I think, breaking outside of the people who are leading the challenge. And the reality is Roswell won, first and foremost, because in conjunction with both the airport, an old Air Force base, and the Brown Brothers Ranch, the Hollyfields, having 2/3 of the race course over their ranch. So we couldn't have done this if the Hollyfields hadn't stepped up and said they wanted to help make it happen.
That's something I never really thought about. When you are planning a race course, if it goes over a property, do you have to deal with like air rights essentially? Do they own the air? Because I thought that was God's air.
Well, exactly. It's God's air until the world gets litigious. But the truth of the matter is, the Hollyfields, as you know, the Brown Brothers Ranch been here over 100 years. And the Hollyfields are just wonderful stewards of the land. And they wanted to see this event come here. So, in fact, we announced in May of 2024 that this will be the new home. And the biggest reason was a couple of things. One, it was the safest place of all the options. The second was, even though Roswell is not a very large city, the reality is has very good medical facilities, particularly in response to an emergency. And one of the things that we wouldn't allow a race to happen unless we had the ability to handle a major crash.
Absolutely.
We pray it never happens. It did happen in 2011, so we have some experience with this.
Sure.
And the last, challenges we faced, though, obviously people can't have the same kind of rooming here they used to have in Reno. So we're hoping, enough people come, stay in Roswell, Artesia, even Ruidoso, Portales, because I've discovered, now that I've moved here as a second home, I've discovered out here in New Mexico, people seem to consider an hour drive like a walk in the park.
It's a commute, essentially, yeah.
Right.
And that's the beauty of Roswell, is because we're right in the center of it all. You can drive an hour and you're in the mountains. You can drive an hour and you're at Sitting Bull Falls. You can drive an hour and you're at Carlsbad Caverns. I mean, it's all of these experiences are right here in our own backyard. And that's one of the things I loved about last year is, we're a tourism city, so we kind of already have that established with hotels and with proper medical facilities. But there just weren't enough beds for heads last year.
Right.
So folks were staying in Carlsbad, in Ruidoso, and the ones in Ruidoso especially, I know had a fantastic
the Mountain Gods and some of the other hotels there are really quite wonderful.
And it changed the tourism experience itself, because those cities were facilitating by holding music festivals. Same thing again this year in Artesia. We're holding Red Dirt Black Gold at the same weekend for the folks who are, once they're done with the races, they come back to their Artesia hotels. What are we going to do? Let's go jam out to some country.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing boost for the entirety of the Southeast New Mexico region.
Well, that's one of the reasons we are so delighted. It has a lot of economic benefits to the community as we get this event built up over time. I think that will only expand. But I do want to reinforce your point. People in Artesia last year did a great job hosting the people who stayed down there. The hotels, the restaurants. It's not a very large community, but they were very welcoming, and were terrific to see.
It's Southern charm, kind of in human form. I make the joke that if Roswell is the Pawnee from Parks and Recreation, Artesia is the Eagleton. They're like they have all the fancy stuff.
Well, it's Southern charm with green chili spice.
Absolutely.
So it's a great place. The other thing that's important, and, we've had the state of New Mexico has been very helpful in trying to do some of the infrastructure. And I think, and this is a personal opinion, people might disagree, but I'm from the East for the most part. That's where I grew up. And the reality is I think New Mexico is a vastly underappreciated location for tourism, as you mentioned, Carlsbad Caverns, Santa Fe, Los Alamos. There are so many things to see and do in this area that I think people across the country just don't fully appreciate. So we're really excited by the fact that so many of our fans live throughout the United States that it'll bring more and more of them here to New Mexico.
Absolutely. And you made a great point there. It brings in people from all over, parts unknown. I was mentioning before we got on the air that last year I met a couple who had traveled here from New Hampshire. Yeah. I'm like, you come all the way from New Hampshire here for an air raid. And don't get me wrong. I love that you're doing it. I love the passion is there. And it's been interesting being local here in Roswell over the past year to watch Roswell be like, oh, we should probably do something about this. We're in the process of opening not one, not two, but 3 trampoline parks here in town. We've expanded our downtown to be more nightlife friendly and kind of welcome more of that open atmosphere for like a coffee shop or, the winery, places like that. And it's interesting to watch kind of Roswell turn a corner into this, okay, we're going to be the home of the air races. Now let's rise up to meet their standard. And it's really been a really, really cool thing to watch.
Well, ever since I purchased a home here, because I think it's going to take me 3 or 4 years to get this event firmly established. And who wants to stay in a hotel half the time that long?
Right.
So the thing that I've found, I grew up in a small town in upstate New York. I love small towns. And I have to tell you, my personal experience is I have met so many people in this community that are wonderful, delightful, welcoming, and I think our racers found that last year when they were here. So it's a great place to be, and we're looking forward to making our home well into the future.
So let's talk for a second about how this year is going to be different from last year, because last year while it was an amazing event, it brought in so many people. There was a couple of things that we couldn't facilitate last year, it being such short notice, that are kind of making a comeback this year. So let's talk for a second about what people can expect for the 2026 air races.
That's terrific. No, your memory is exactly right. So, first of all, I'll go to something less exciting, but very real. As you may remember, last year on the Saturday, we started off the races well. Then a huge rainstorm came in, virtually flooded much of our event space. Yep. We had to cancel the races. Then, of course, God played a trick on us. We thought that the day was going to be shot by 2 o'clock. The sun came out again. The weather looked beautiful.
That's Roswell.
But almost everybody had already headed home, and we honored all the tickets the next day. So it taught us a couple of things. Nothing like a big rainstorm to show you where your drainage problems are.
Absolutely.
So the first thing that's different is I just have to give a shout out to the city. The improvements that they've made to the event space in replumbing some of the drainage swales, piping some of it. I think, number one, first of all, we take the point of view that, of course, with all this work, if we're really lucky, it won't rain this year. I want all the rain to come before about September 8th.
Yeah.
And because we need the rain, as you well know.
It'll tamp down the dust,
Yes.
Gets it solidified a little bit.
But one of the big challenges we faced last year was the sport class and the unlimited class did not participate. And the reason they stood down was we were unable in the time available to build an emergency landing strip. So if you're at the far apex of the course, and I know they can't see me as I do hand signals, but as you're at the far apex of the course, one of our sport guys said it to me very succinctly. And it's one of our faster races. He goes, look, we, almost all these guys, they're paying for all this racing out of their own pocket. They do it because they love it.
Sure.
Their crews are the same way. He said, we work very hard. We know we get twice the horsepower out of many of our engines than they were originally designed for. But that being said, every time I race, I'm prepared to lose an engine if I have to, but I'm not prepared to lose an airframe. And the worry was if they had an engine failure at the far apex of the course, whether they could get back to the main runway 1735.
Right.
So in the intervening time, again, shout out for the Hollyfields. Brown Brothers Ranch and we agreed they would allow us to build a 5,000-foot emergency landing strip inside the unlimited course on the far side. And that is now done. Later, By the end of this week, we'll have X's on both ends to remind any other pilot it is only an emergency landing strip.
Sure.
It is not Roswell. Do not land here. But it's going to be virtually done by the end of this week. That's number one. So the Unlimited and Sport class are both committed to coming back. We have 15, if my memory serves me correctly, 15 Unlimited racers. The fastest amongst them is Bardol. She raced way back in 1964.
Really?
And she was the fastest racer in our last 2023 Unlimited race. So it's really going to be exciting to see. And it's a P-51, but we've got Yak, Sea Furies. It's going to be really exciting. And that's number one. The second is we have another 15 sport planes that'll be racing.
Okay.
Some of the fastest sport planes are able to do 400 miles an hour these days.
Is that
it's really amazing. The Unlimited top speed, I'm guessing he's going to break 500. But the next thing that's exciting is this is the first year that we have opened up a brand new course.
Okay.
We have previously been limited in our course design to 525 mile an hour top speed, and a number of our jets can do better than that. With the Brown Brothers Ranch support, we have an expanded course that we are calling His Beef the Jets. We're calling it the Mach course.
Okay.
That's a little bit of a twist because we're not going to break the sound barrier.
Sure.
But
we're going to get pert neared.
We have authorization for them to be able to race up to 600 miles an hour.
That's an insane level of speed, especially now we're dealing with, correct me if I'm wrong, twin engine prop planes, correct?
So the prop planes, for the most part, are barely going to get over 5.25, but the jets can manage to get upwards of 540, 550, I think, this year. We'll have to see.
Just to achieve that level of speed from a plane like that, you mentioned it earlier, some of these pilots, they're basically going the equivalent of full throttle.
Oh, they absolutely are.
So like you said, engine failure at any point could be an issue. Do they have... Now, this is, again, a question from somebody who doesn't really know the sport itself. Do they have, like, a traveling pit crew that, like, follows them?
Yes.
Like that follows the plane?
Almost all of them are supported by crews in every case. I mean, even the formulas and the biplanes have their own dedicated crews. It's always been true. And, I have to give a shout out to the military in this sense. The pilots may get all the glory, but for every guy or gal that is up flying America's finest fighters, there is a team of people.
Absolutely.
The logistics, armaments, and radios and avionics, all keeping them going. And the fact of the matter is, the same is true in racing.
Sure.
And so these Unlimited planes, take a P-51 Mustang, for example. When they were first designed, number one, they used Allison engines, not the Merlin.
Right.
But when the British came to the United States and said, we think we could do an adaptation of the original Mustang. And instead of the Allison engine, put the Merlin, Rolls-Royce Merlin engine in it. That created the Mustang that we know today, the P-51.
Is that right?
That was so successful throughout World War II and beyond. And that engine at the time was basically designed to produce 1,400 to 1,600 horsepower.
Holy moly.
In the hands of these racers, some of these engines are producing close to 3,000 horsepower. So they changed cooling systems. They changed a variety of things to be able to do it. So you're right. These planes and these engines and pilots are racing at the limits of what was past the limits of what they're designed for and at the limits of what's possible. And that's why if there is an engine failure, it's important that they have a safe place that they can put down. So back to your point, though, we have both the Unlimited and Sport. So we have all 7 classes of racing, 6 of them closed course pylon, and 1 of them stole, which races right out in front of the crowds. The other thing that's exciting we have the U.S. Thunderbirds Precision Demonstration Team.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they kind of, when we had the pilot visit, I want to say it was at the beginning of this year that we had a pilot.
They came here to tour and check everything out.
And that's when we kind of got the official announcement that they're coming to Roswell for the second year. And that's going to be, in and of itself, is worth the cost of admission. I mean, it's going to be an amazing event.
Oh, that's absolutely right. And I want to make certain the public knows one of the things that when the Thunderbirds are here, and it's true for the Blue Angels too, both the military precision teams, but when they're here, they do a number of public relations things in conjunction with handicapped kids who come out to the facility and get to meet them, the veterans organizations and the schools, but they always want to do a public event. So on Friday night, the 18th of September, in front of the county courthouse downtown, because we want it to be a place that nobody has to buy a ticket or anything else. You can come down and meet the Thunderbirds that night.
Really? Okay.
They'll be there from roughly 7 p.m. to, I think, 8:30. And it'll be open to the public, no tickets needed. If you got a program, and we'll have cards, people can meet them. And it's not just the team itself, the pilots. It's the entire team, 70 people, to keep that whole set of planes flying will be here.
Even in the plane that they brought here, for their tour.
Right.
I was as small as that cockpit is. I was amazed that they had another guy in there. I'm like, there's a whole other dude back there.
It's two places. It's a wonderful plane. And actually, I remember he did a couple of tours up and down the city from the air. He used all the smoke oil and reminded everybody the Thunderbirds were coming. It's going to be great.
It really
The Thunderbirds, Raz, the leader, he'll fly in that Wednesday.
Okay.
The full team will fly in on Thursday, the 17th. And then on the 18th, they do their full, they call it a practice, but it's the full routine. And then the full performance is also Saturday and Sunday. So for those who want to see the Thunderbirds, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are the best days to come.
Yes, absolutely. For folks who don't know, the event runs basically the entire week of, it is the...
September 16th, Wednesday afternoon will be when racing begins. We do sell tickets for all day Wednesday if people want, but they should know that in the morning we're finishing up qualifications so everybody knows where they stand in the rankings for the races themselves. And then in the afternoon, we will start the event itself.
Gotcha. Excellent. So, and if folks want more information, if they want to look into getting tickets for the individual events or for the whole week,
airrace.org.
Airrace.org is the place to be for that. And folks, get excited because this is going to be, and this is, the beauty of it is this is where it starts. I know last year is where it started, but this year is where it really starts. We're starting to kind of get our air legs about us. We'll kind of figure out how this works. We're going to start getting the routine, and the city's going to start kind of coming around too. That was one thing last year that kind of caught me off guard. I had stopped off at a gas station to get a soda, and I was talking to the gentleman behind the counter, and I said, "Yeah, the races that are happening out at the base," and he goes,
"What races?"
What races?
Right.
Exactly. So. But slowly but surely, the word started getting out. This is something that's new and it's coming to Roswell, and people are starting to get very, very excited about the potential.
Well, I think people in New Mexico should be proud of the fact that with these races, as you know, the Albuquerque Balloon Fest is known worldwide, just like our races have been out in Reno. And so I think it's pretty spectacular that you can have in New Mexico. In the fall, you see the slowest air racing with balloons, and come to Roswell and you see the fastest air racing.
It's a real spectrum that we offer here in New Mexico.
You know, you can do it all. You just have to look around. There's so much in New Mexico to see and do.
So, you know, and I know that we're not the big sky country state, but it really does feel like we are. Because, I mean, we have more days of sunshine than I think all but one state. I think it's us in California have the most sunshine of any state. Which is ironic because Florida is the sunshine state. But it's a beautiful place to be, and it's actually the reason I brought up the spot team is because I used to spot for hot air balloons. I was on part of a team that would spot for balloonists, and it's such a blast. You're down on the ground, and your whole like mission is just following that dot.
That balloon.
There's that dot. Just keep as long as you keep your eye on that dot, we're good. Sitting in the back of a Toyota, riding through the arroyos. It's a blast. But the event.
If I could share one or two other things, just to talk about the history here. You know, as you know, when Roswell Air Base was first created, it was a bomber training base, and after the war, it became a SAC base. And so for a long time in the 60s, though decommissioned, it was under Curtis LeMay's control, and it had B-52 bombers. We won't talk about what was probably stored in a lot of those bunkers, but I suspect it included nuclear arsenal.
A couple aliens.
Yeah, certainly probably a few aliens. But the thing that's most exciting from a display point of view is the U.S. Air Force has agreed to bring a B-52 bomber back to Roswell.
Really?
Now, as you know, they haven't produced these planes since the early 60s.
Sure.
So every one of them are older than the pilots that are flying them, and they're now into about their 8th or 9th reconfiguration for avionics, and they're still being used today.
Now, are they flying it in?
They are.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was still airworthy.
They're using them to bomb in Iran right now.
That's incredible.
You know, this plane has had the longest operational history, I believe, of any bomber in the U.S. arsenal. Yeah. So in any event, as I said to the city council, until we see the serial number of the plane, we can't be sure that plane was actually based here.
Sure.
But B-52s were based here, and I think it's tremendously exciting. You have to bear in mind they're 136 feet long. The wingspan is 188 feet. Man. So it's going to be exciting.
That's insane. That's almost a football field.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And we have the CAF is bringing Fifi, a B-29 bomber, and a B-24 bomber. So we're missing a B-17 because it was already booked, but had we had those four, you would have had every one of the large bombers from World War II up until today based here, with the exception of brand new B-1. Man. So that'll be terrific. The other thing that's important is we do have a major STEM program.
Yes.
In addition to honoring our military.
Absolutely.
And the STEM program runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday, throughout the weekend. In conjunction with the principals in the school, we're expecting over 4,000 to 5,000 kids. And any of the kids who participate in the STEM program, their wristband gets them back in for free over the weekend.
Okay.
Now, in fairness to parents out there
Mom
like
and Dad
me,
are gonna have to
means the parents have got to buy a ticket.
That's how they get you into the circus, by the way.
But
we'll give you a kid ticket for free.
With any luck, the kids will say, I want to go back.
Sure, absolutely.
And the last thing is, I just want to tell you, Friday is always Military Appreciation Day. And all military personnel are free that day. At any time, there's a 15% discount for the military. But on Friday is a day we make a point to recognize and honor our military. Without what they do, as you know, we would not enjoy the freedoms we have in this country.
Absolutely.
And we cannot do enough to recognize and honor our veterans and our active duty military. So it's, to me, it's an aviation carnival, and I mean that in the finest sense. There is so much to see and do. We hope people can join us. We're really excited. And September 16th to 20th, in a day, we're releasing 2 new discount programs.
Okay.
One will be with a code, I think it'll be NM20, New Mexico 20. And that's basically all New Mexico residents get a 20% discount on their ticketing and parking. We, because travel, you know, while we're here in New Mexico, the whole West Texas region, Midland, Odessa, Lubbock, is equally part of this orbit. So we're also doing another promotion we call Road Trip 20.
Okay.
All this information will be out soon. We're going to have some scripts for you in the radios. But And then most of all, our deepest discount is to the locals in Roswell. And it'll just be a code Roswell 20, and Roswell 26, sorry. And nope. So we're very excited. We think it's important to see as many people out locally as can make it.
Absolutely.
I'll have more information on this, but I just wanted to mention, we want to make certain that given where we are, as many of the people in the drive market and locally can come join us. Because over time, we like to think this will be as important to the area as the Eastern New Mexico State Fair
100%.
and the Balloon Festival. So,
100%. You know, and we've had, discussions internally about how, with UFO Festival and with the flag football tournament that we have held here over the past years, we are set up as a tourism community, but it sort of gets lost on us because we're in it. We're in the stew, and so you kind of forget. But events like this that are new and refreshing, this brings a whole new life to Roswell, and this has got Roswell excited. This is, I've seen for so many years, if I saw a new building come up, I'm like, oh great, we're getting a payday loan place. Oh cool, we got another bank and trust or whatever. And these were all downtown, but now we're getting places like Bottle Rockets that sell that has like interesting products. We're getting restaurants and bars and the winery and there's a downtown nightlife that wasn't here in past generations. And I think a lot of that is due thanks to the air races, and being a part of Roswell. So we want to see as many people as we can. We want to fill up, put all those heads in those beds and make this event just an absolute success. So once again, airrace.org if you want more information. And that's where you'll also be able to find all those discount codes that we discussed. And we'll get that information to you out as we get it as well. But get excited because this is going to be one for the ages. And like I said, this is just the second year we are going places from here.
It's only year 2, and as I said, we were 59-year run out in Reno and Nevada, and we hope we can match it, even though I know I'll be long dead by then. But
oh no,
I was once a racer, and I love it. And it's just I appreciate Roswell welcoming us to the community, and I have to give a shout out to so many of the restaurants because the reality is. My daughter charged me. She goes, Dad, you go up on a meat and potatoes kind of diet. Now you're out there eating green chili and stuff. And so the reality is I've really enjoyed all the people here and look forward to this being a part of Roswell and southeastern New Mexico's culture well into the future.
Absolutely. Fred, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to hearing from you again before the big day gets underway. But folks, get excited because this is going to be an absolute slobber knocker, as good old JR used to say.
Thank you very much, Sean. Absolutely. Look forward to it.
Thank you, Fred. And again, airrace.org for more information. 9 minutes away from 9 o'clock, let us get you up to date with some headline news.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The student and business visas of up to 200,000 foreign nationals may be revoked, forcing those supposedly short-term visitors to return home. They're casting ballots in South Carolina. It is a U.S. Senate runoff between Republican Senator Darlene Graham and GOP Congressman Ralph Norman. The Supreme Court handing the Trump administration a victory over election integrity concerns a presidential executive order on mail-in ballots. The plan would create a federal list of eligible voters and direct the Postal Service to deliver ballots only to those voters. When it comes to the U.S. declaration of economic war on Iran, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says it's already bearing fruit. On Wall Street, stocks in positive territory. The Dow is up 64 points, while the Nasdaq is ahead 104. More details at srnnews.com.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 7 minutes away from 9 o'clock. All right, look, I'm not going to say anything. I am going to say I love what I do for a living because I get a lot of really cool inside scoops. All I'm going to say is this. Keep your ear close to the radio because over the next few days, something really cool is going to happen. That's all I can say right now. just get excited. 7 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Let us get you up to date with, this guy.
Now, time for another Otis Advisory.
Well, America's sweetheart, Sandy old Communist Cortez, has laid out the rules for who gets to take her to homecoming, since Dog the Bounty Hunter was busy.
I'm who everyone wants to date,
Cried Sandy O.
All the old white men want to take me for an ice cream, but I say no sassy pants for you. So quit asking. The rest of you just calm down. There's plenty of AOC to go around.
Honey, you need to cut the dose. Does your mommy know you're here? Could she be looking for you? You need to make a call or something? Many people ask me, Uncle Otis, this sounds like having a personal pandemic all to yourself, like a cry for help. Well, maybe, but it's okay to say no to Pants's handlers, since this kind of viral load can be dangerous unless you stay behind the velvet ropes. We even asked Roy Rogers if he wanted to go out with AOC, said he'd rather be covered in sticker burrs, and actually he is. But that's just Roy. On a lighter note, back home in her district, a man is shot every 6 minutes, and he's getting damn tired of it. Party of one? So, anyway, we've set up a helpline here at the bait camp. For anybody still wanting to crack at this, you're going to need a number 2 wash tub, a clear shower curtain, and a good police radio for catch and release at the next election. Can you dig it? This is your Uncle Otis, a false and dangerous narrative, and I'll see you at the Peace March.
The National Championship Air Races return to Roswell, New Mexico. Get your tickets today at airrace.org.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a heat advisory in effect for the whole area today. 105 on the afternoon high, lots of sunshine with high pressure still parked overhead. Few clouds overnight, we're in the low 70s, and then about 100 for the afternoon high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll stay sunny. We do have a quick front moving through on Wednesday night, maybe a shower. Back to sunny and hot weather on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
Good morning, I'm John Terrett. It was a typical day in August yesterday on the markets. There was a chip stock slide outweighing a bond yield decline. The Dow was in the green all of the day, closing up about 1/3 of 1%. NASDAQ 100, S&P all in the red. The SOX Philadelphia Chips Index down 3%. Oil down, $90 a barrel for Brent, 88 for WTI. President Trump has confirmed he's going to double tariffs on Canadian-made cars, trucks, auto parts, and steel from next January. As a result, Ford and Stellantis were down about 3%, but stock in the steelmaker and recycler Nucor was actually up. They benefit from the tariffs. Roche and Eli Lilly got their Alzheimer's blood test approved yesterday. California called off talks with Paramount over the Warner takeover and a possible settlement. California blamed Paramount for leaking the news. Paramount said, "We did no such thing." The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, says the U.S. is going to block every revenue source from Iran that it possibly can. Bessent was speaking at the Treasury in Washington, D.C. yesterday. He also said President Trump is calling other leaders, telling them to call off business ties with Iran or face U.S. sanctions themselves. Later today, housing data and consumer confidence. With business, I'm John Terrett.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report, sponsored by Abacus Global Management.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com.
Grab your dancing boots and gear up for 2 nights of live music and fun coming to downtown Artesia. The 11th annual Red Dirt Black Gold Music Festival hits September 25th and 26th. It all gets underway on Friday night with Heritage Night featuring El Instinto de Chihuahua. The party continues on Saturday with music by the Delk Band.
Where did I go wrong? Did I wait too long?
The Wilder Blue.
Rio River Blue. Palomino Gold.
Logan Ryan Band.
Oh, so put out multicolours and them turquoise rings you like.
And Pecos and the Rooftops.
I'm writing this damn song, but I guess I'm okay.
Plus, the New Mexico Brew Fest, the Oil Field Cook-Off, local food trucks, vendors, and activities for all ages. Gates open at 4, but the fun's gonna last all night. The 11th Annual Red Dirt Black Gold Music Festival, September 25th and 26th in downtown Artesia. Come on down and kick the dust up. And paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
People are often surprised by what they find here. More expertise than people expect. Advanced technology. Board-certified physicians. Care you might expect to travel hours for. Right here. We've never believed where you live should determine the care you receive. Close to family, close to home. We're here. Artesia General Hospital.
Let's see what's at the cow. Autumn, Christmas, and holiday fabrics are here. The Calico Cow is your dealer for handy quilter, brother, and baby lock machines, and they service and repair most models. It's time to create. Sign up now for our classes and follow Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop on Facebook for updates and creation ideas. Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come to the cow.
The octopus and the squid both have 3 hearts. That's why they eat so many Tums. Here's Mike Winters.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The student and business visas of up to 200,000 foreign nationals may be revoked, forcing those supposedly short-term visitors to go home. They are casting ballots today in the Palmetto State.
South Carolina voters are deciding who will replace the late Senator Lindsey Graham in the Senate. President Trump has endorsed and campaigned for Senator Darlene Graham, Lindsey Graham's sister.
She will be somebody you're going to be very proud. If you vote for her, you're going to be very proud of that vote.
Darlene Graham is serving as an interim replacement for her brother. Her opponent is Congressman Ralph Norman, who has told supporters that while he wanted President Trump's endorsement, the voters will ultimately determine who wins.
I asked for the president's endorsement, didn't get it, but anybody would want the endorsement, but he chose who he did, and that's fine.
That audio courtesy of WSOC TV. I'm Mike Hempel.
The Supreme Court has handed the Trump administration a victory regarding election integrity. Concerns a presidential executive order on mail-in ballots. The plan would create a federal list of eligible voters and direct the Postal Service to deliver ballots only to those voters. Ruling 6-3, the High Court says states that sued the administration did so improperly. When it comes to the U.S. declaration of economic war on Iran, Treasury Secretary Besson says it is already bearing fruit.
Over the weekend, comments from Iranian leadership clearly acknowledged the effect of this campaign, and nations that facilitate any interactions with the regime should quickly heed our message.
Today, Canada is expected to announce its response to President Trump's 50% tariffs on a host of Canadian imports, $20 billion worth of goods. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 23 points, the Nasdaq ahead 104 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Another ship has been targeted in the Strait of Hormuz as talks wrap up in Oman.
The oil tanker was hit Monday night a few miles
off the east coast of Oman, according to a report Tuesday from the British military's UK Maritime Trade Organisation. The unknown projectile hit the engine of the ship and disabled it, but all crew have been reported safe, the group says. There's been no immediate reports of any environmental impact from the attack, but oil spills from other ships damaged during the war have caused growing concerns about ecological damage. I'm Charles Filipesla.
A tornado has ravaged a small village in southern France, leaving dozens injured. Local authorities say rescue teams still searching after the tornado left the village in ruins. A local government official confirms 39 people were injured, including 2 critically, and roughly 300 homes were damaged. News and analysis at townhall.com. Adults are embracing the growing trend of colleges offering a reduced credit bachelor's degree in just 3 years.
34-year-old Giles Sims was sick of getting passed over for jobs because he did not have a college degree and was often told,
on your skills assessment, you guys scored the same, so we went with the one that had the degree.
So the laid-off web developer turned to one of a growing number of 3-year degree programs now being offered around the country. The new U.S. programs let students finish faster by completing as few as 90 credit hours instead of the typical 120 hours for a 4-year bachelor's degree. Critics say the degrees cut corners. Giles says that the programs seem more tailored for a fast-changing job market. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The California Senate has advanced a bill to fine content creators who don't disclose that they were paid to post in support of a political candidate or issue on the ballot. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3, Tres Inviernos, of a morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. Hopefully your Tuesday off to a decent start. Going to be another scorcher around Roswell, so if you got to get it done, you best get it done early, because yeah, it's gonna be a whole sack of suck out there once the heat wave really takes over. Now the good news is, it looks like at least for the slightly foreseeable future, we may be down to double-digit heat. It's still gonna be hot, like 97, 98 degrees, but hey, doesn't that just sound better than 103? I mean, I know it's not much better, but doesn't it just sound better? Sometimes it's really all about just how it hits your ear. But once again, Mixmaster Mike Winters out. He is currently in the process of helping take care of his lovely wife, Kim, as she goes through her procedure. And we will hear all about it tomorrow. Due to HIPAA regulations, I am not allowed to disclose or discuss any of the matters that are... All right, fine. It's a shoulder-mounted laser cannon. We talked about it in hour number 1. I got a cease and desist from the facility that's actually doing the procedure. But you know what? Doggone it. I have a microphone that's connected to a wire, and that's connected to a satellite. So you will hear all about it. Kim's having a shoulder-mounted laser cannon attached. Now, the cannon itself isn't going to be a laser cannon that's going to fire harmful lasers. I know there's been a lot of a lot of discussion with, lasers and flights and things of that nature. This laser is specifically a laser pointer. Now we are leaving the option open. Like if you ever, back in the day, if you bought like a Nintendo or an N64, it came with these like little doors that had ports on it that they never explained what the port was for. None of us ever knew what it was for, but we always just assumed that you can add on to it. It makes it modular, if you will. So what we're doing, what the facility that Mike has taken Kim to is doing is they're installing the shoulder-mounted laser cannon. Now that's the start, and then we're going to keep it dialed down specifically for laser pointer status. But in the event that we need to upgrade, say for example, the apocalypse, God forbid. But if we need to expand her laser to be more powerful, potentially more lethal, we do have that option, and we have the technology. But we're keeping it simple for now because we understand Kim spends a lot of time in the school setting amongst students. We want to keep our students, our young minds, our young fresh minds, we want to keep them as safe as humanly possible. So right now, the laser that's being installed on Kim's shoulder in her shoulder-mounted laser cannon is just for pointing at stuff. I'm sure you could do the same thing with like a finger or whatever, but hey, isn't it more fun to have a laser? Exactly. Anyways, barring any kind of issues, Mike will be back inside your radios tomorrow morning to regale us with stories of all the fun times that were had at the hospital or wherever the facility happens to be. Hey, we've had a loaded show this morning, and if you missed any portion of it, you can always go back and check it out in its entirety over at ksvptv.com. In the 7 o'clock hour, we chatted with the folks from Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, Dr. Barry Cromer, as well as the CEO, Warren Yell, and Diane Wright, the nurse practitioner there. In just now, we had a great conversation with Mr. Fred Telling, the CEO of the National Championship Air Race. And like I mentioned last hour, he gave me a little nugget of knowledge that I have to hold on to. And here's the problem. I'm not good at keeping secrets. I never have been. Most people know if they need to keep a secret. I'm probably not going to say anything, but it's just going to eat at me. It's going to destroy me from the inside, and I'm going to be sitting with somebody who I'm trying to keep a secret from. I'm just going to, we're making you a cake! Something like that. It just comes out. So I got a little nugget of knowledge that hopefully we'll be able to announce in the next few days because I don't know how long I can hold on to this. It's pretty cool. It's all in ties with the championship air races, and we'll get into that later on. But hey, we're not done yet because, like I said, it's a jam-packed hour, and we have plenty to get to in the rest of today's show. Coming up here in just a few minutes, around 9:15 or so, we're going to get you up to date with the weather first, let you know kind of what's happening. Spoiler alert, it's hot. And then we're going to be joined by the folks from the Nancy Lopez celebration and event, Ms. Diane Taylor, and it looks like Brian Luck going to be joining us as well, the Roswell Independent School District Superintendent. So we'll be chatting with them about 3 days of events that we have to honor Nancy Lopez and really, hold a celebration and put her on our shoulders and really, hold her in high regard. This is a great event. We'll talk all about that and the many, many events that are tied in with that coming up here in just a few minutes. Did I oversleep? Is this all a dream? Is my alarm going off? Oh, crap, I snoozed. I snoozed too long. Hey, real quick, I want to put this on your radar. The Daughters of Grace Ministry, they got something pretty special coming up. It's their women's conference. It's called Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. It's going to be held September 25th through the 26th, Friday and all day Saturday, there at Grace Community Church at 935 West Mescalero Road. Friday evening, they'll have a registration, a welcome. They'll have some worship with a main speaker, and then they're having a cafe fellowship night. And then on Saturday, they're going to have continental breakfast as well as some more worship. 3 speaker sessions in total, as well as 3 breakout sessions for some kind of one-on-one and partnership time. Then they'll have testimonies and encouragement and a main speaker that will close the session. Now, the cost for the event, the early bird registration is $50 until August 31st. So you have until the end of this month to get your registration in and get it for $50. Regular registration runs September 1st through the 14th, and we're looking at $60 for your regular registration. And then for the week before or at the door, you can still get your tickets. It's just going to set you back $75. So best bet, Get it early, $50. Knock it out and get ready for the big event, September 25th and 26th. Grace Community Church's Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. And if you want more information, you can visit roswellgrace.com or call 575-623-5438. That's, again, 575-623-5438, or visit roswellgrace.com for all the info that you need to know about the Grace Community Church's Women Conference, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. 13 minutes after 9 o'clock on this Tuesday morning, let us get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We've got a heat advisory in effect for the whole area today. 105 on the afternoon high, lots of sunshine with high pressure still parked overhead. A few clouds overnight, we're in the low 70s, and then about 100 for the afternoon high on Wednesday. Looks like we'll stay sunny. We do have a quick front moving through on Wednesday night, maybe a shower, back to sunny and hot weather on Thursday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 84 degrees around Roswell Way. Humidity is at 32% with winds out of the north at around 13 miles per hour. Barometer at 30.14 inches with a dew point of 51 degrees. Like I said, folks, if you like hot, well, you came to the right spot. And if you don't, you should probably find yourself a walk-in freezer somewhere because it's going to be a scorcher. Mostly sunny, hot, 104 for the high today. Winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. Those winds becoming south later in the afternoon. For tonight, partly cloudy, dropping down to an overnight low of about 72 degrees. This morning, it was 80 degrees before the sun even came up. It went down a little bit, but it was not a pleasant before the sun part of the morning. But I digress. Winds out of the southwest 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming northeast later in the evening. For your Wednesday, sunny skies, and once again, it's going to be a scorcher. Winds are going to be a high of 98 degrees. Winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles an hour. Those becoming southeast later in the afternoon. For your Wednesday night, you got a chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight, then a slight chance of showers. Some of those storms could be severe. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies, 70 for the overnight low, winds out of the north 10 to 15, becoming north 5 to 10 after midnight. Again, your chance of precipitation for Wednesday night is 40%. So keep your fingers crossed, do your rain dance, and go wash your car because maybe we might get a little moisture on the ground. Mostly sunny and hot, a high of around 97 degrees, winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles an hour. For Thursday night, a 50% chance of rain. That's right, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly before midnight. Other than that, mostly cloudy, getting down to 69 degrees. Those clouds and that rain chance moving out of our area just in time for Football Friday as your Goddard Rockets open or have their home opener, their second game of the season, but their home opener against the Cavemen of Carlsbad. That game going down. Pregame 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock. You can hear that game right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM and see that game over at ksvptv.com. But for your Football Friday, sunny, hot, 97 for the high. Winds Friday night, mostly clear, 71. Winds going to be calm, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Then for Saturday and the weekend ahead, more triple-digit torture. 101 for the high on Saturday and on Sunday, 100 for the high on Monday. 16 minutes after 9 o'clock, we are going to pause, pay a couple bills, and after these, we'll be joined on the other side by, I haven't seen Diane yet, but I know that we got Brian Luck, so we'll chat with him on the other side of these on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
This lot is stocked. The Summer is Stocked sales event is on now at Roswell Hyundai with great deals on an unbelievable selection of fresh new vehicles. Get 3.49% for up to 60 months and $1,000 in bonus cash on in-stock 26 Kona, 3.49% for 60 and $2,000 in bonus cash on in-stock 26 Elantra, and 0% for 60 and up to $3,000 in dealer choice bonus cash on 26 Tucson SE, plus 0 down and no payments for 90 days. The Summer is Stocked sales event on now at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 109 West 2nd.
Teachers are smart and funny. Teachers are cool.
Fulkerson Plumbing and Air Conditioning want to celebrate teachers in the Roswell and Dexter Independent School Districts and need your help. They want to award 3 winning teachers with a $100 Visa gift card and the most nominated teacher a pizza party for their entire class. Log on to Fulkerson's Facebook page, like and share the post, and if possible, tag your favorite teacher's name and school in the comments. Winners will be announced August 26th. Call 622-1600 for more information.
Thank you, teachers.
Do you have missing teeth or would like them replaced? If you think dental implants are not affordable, think again. At Maupin & Brown Dentistry, their goal has always been to provide the highest quality dentistry in a state-of-the-art office at a reasonable price. They routinely treat patients that have traveled out of town for a consultation but cannot afford the treatment quoted. If this sounds like your story, come in today. As one of New Mexico's largest users of the world-class Nobel implants, they're able to purchase in volume and pass the savings on to you. So if you're missing a tooth or have loose dentures, call today. They will take a 3D x-ray to thoroughly evaluate your condition. You'll be given treatment options and an honest evaluation with no hard sell or arm twisting. But don't take our word for it. Just ask one of the thousands of patients they've treated. Maupin & Brown Dentistry. Your choice for experienced, affordable, state-of-the-art dentistry. Call 627-0141 or visit maupinbrown.com.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
We call him Jim. 19 minutes after 9 o'clock on this Tuesday morning without Mike Winters. And joining us in studio this morning, Superintendent of the Roswell Independent School District, Mr. Brian Luck, wearing a slightly different hat this morning.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully we'll be having Miss Diane Taylor join us here in the next few minutes. But in the meantime, we are chatting all about the great Nancy Lopez.
That's right.
We're getting excited because this is going to be a huge event. It's the historical golf celebration of Nancy Lopez, and it's going to be going down September 3rd through the 5th at various locations around Roswell.
Yes, sir.
So for those who don't know, for those maybe who are new to the area or just don't nerd out like I do, tell us a little bit about Nancy herself, her claim to fame, and how she's tied into Roswell.
Oh man, absolutely. So first of all, I want to give a hats off to Diane, and I guess Diane's probably checking on Mike and Kim right now, and that's probably why she's just not here yet. Mm-hmm. But it kind of took the reins on this thing and has really made it a neat event. We had a brand new building. Nancy Lopez Elementary School that we've got built. We've got our kiddos in it. We've got it up and running.
Nice.
And so a neat opportunity to do a ribbon cutting, and it just exploded after that. Mm-hmm. So Nancy Lopez, LPGA Hall of Famer. Before she won 48 professional tournaments, before she became a household name in women's golf, she just was a girl from Roswell.
Yeah.
And went to Goddard High School, actually played on the boys golf team because there wasn't a girls golf team.
She was girls golf before girls golf was a thing.
I tell you what, she has done some really, really cool things in her life. Born in California, 1957, moved to Roswell when she was young. Her father, Domingo, had an auto repair business here in town. That's a little before my time,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm okay with that. And then just really put women's golf, Goddard High School, on her back and ran with it. So really excited to just bring her to town and give her some homage.
Absolutely.
To honor what she's done.
I had to chuckle. The last interview that Mike had with Miss Diane, she mentioned Nancy's father, Domingo Sunday Lopez.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's his nickname, but I always love the idea that you could just have your name in a different language and that's your nickname. That's awesome. That's such a cool concept. Like, I want to be Sean Juan Smalls,
Okay, let me write that down.
Just jot that down.
I'm going to jot that down.
See if we can get that on a placard. But absolutely, like we said, took up the clubs and made ladies golf a thing before it was ever even a thing. And that's such a visionary thing to do. When you're the forerunner of all of this, like having that vision to be I'm going to do this even though they say I can't.
Well, and you know what? It's interesting because I don't necessarily know how the story started as far as when people do things like that, they probably don't set out to be that person.
Mm-hmm.
They're just enjoying it and they're very driven.
Right.
And 8 years old, she gets her first golf club. 9 wins her first tournament by 110 strokes.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that's pretty impressive right there. She, first Pee Wee tournament, 110 strokes ahead of the runner-up. She even had time to go help the other kids, find their balls off the tee because of how good she was even then. But, just the notoriety and the work that she did here and then what it's led for her and her family. And, we're gonna have an event over at the brand new building on Friday. So my speaking part is to the ribbon cutting ceremony at 8:30 over at Nancy Lopez Elementary School. And again, it is directly behind Mesa Middle School.
Yes.
We're having it outside, so we're welcoming all comers for that.
Just a beautiful facility, by the way. If you haven't been by to check it out.
And at some point in time, we will have an open house where we can get people just through there. Not on this day. I was speaking with the principal the other day, and she goes, "You realize we have school on that day?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." So it's all outside, and then at 1:30, we're going to have more of a private event for some of our athletes and Miss Lopez over at Goddard. And we've got a couple other young ladies that are going to return. Young ladies, I say that because they're younger than me and had the opportunity to be a teacher and a coach when one of them was at Goddard. But, it's just such a neat thing. 12 years old when Nancy won the Women's Amateur Championship for New Mexico. Went to win the state championships multiple times. Just that's unheard of.
It's when you're, like I mentioned, when you're, coming into something, you're a female in a completely male-driven sport. You have this mindset of, and like you said, she was just taken up and taken to a game that she liked, but you kind of have to have this mindset of, if I'm going to hang with them, I've got to not only be at their level, I have to be better than them, because if I'm not, they're not going to accept as good as they are. So that's sort of that mindset, that mentality that, when you get into competition, once you found your stride and you found your, the way you play your game, you get into the tournament mindset, and then you think, well, if I'm going to do this, I have to be head and shoulders above the competition.
Well, and the neat thing about it, we were looking through some archives, and the internet is, can be your friend, it can be your enemy all at the same time. But
sure.
Just a cool YouTube search that just said, hey, old videos of Nancy Lopez golf. And we were, bam, you get the first tournament, and you get I can't remember which one it was that we were watching, and her dad and her mom are there. And they come out on the green, and you could just see the culmination of years and years of work. But then you get to think about it, and you're like, that's not, 12 to 21, that's not that long. And what a neat foundation she laid for herself. The funny thing, so I was doing a little bit of work here, getting ready for this, and the two other ladies that we're going to honor up at Goddard as well. Both of them remarked about there was a sign in the Goddard cafeteria for years. I mean, whenever I went to Goddard, it was there, and then whenever I got up there as a teacher, it was still there. And Nancy Lopez ate here. And so,
wow,
I think a lot of the kids that, a lot of them are like, well, who is that? But you go back into the mid 70s, and she's on, ABC Wide World of Sports. That might be a little bit before your time, but
I remember.
and you're watching her play golf, and you're watching her win tournaments, and she's on the cover of Sports Illustrated and Golf Digest, and she's, when the articles are so numerous, you can pick anyone and make it a thing.
Having a sign like that is a really cool opportunity, because if you're in the know, you can take it, you can enjoy the nostalgia of it. If you're not, you're in for a treat, because you're about to open up a rabbit hole of an amazing story, an amazing career, and just somebody who never stopped driving forward, somebody who never stopped pursuing better.
Right. Well, and it's neat because the tie-in down the road with Jurina and with JoJo, and how they both have springboarded from what she had laid the foundation for, and then Jurina actually was on the Solheim Cup. So we have a distinction of, I believe, according to Diane, the only school in the country that had 2 members of the Solheim Cup.
Really?
come from the same high school.
That's crazy. They're both. That's crazy.
Yeah. So you're just like,
you know what that is? That proves that there's something different about the program here.
Well, and the neat thing about it, like for Nancy, I mean, hers was dad, and any time I've ever heard anybody talk about her, growing up here in Roswell, it's been something that I've heard, almost my whole life. You almost never hear her name mentioned without her dad.
Right.
And I think that is so cool that, that connection is just so deep and it's embedded.
When you're a little girl, I'm not speaking from personal, experience, but I got to imagine, and this is how I experienced it with my daughter. When you're at that young age, you want to be a part of your father's life. You want to be as much like him as you can. And the fact that she took an interest in golf because of his interest in it, his enjoyment of it, and then sought to, maybe it wasn't necessarily sought for approval, but sought to stand out in her father's eyes, and that instilled in her a love of the sport.
Oh yeah, well, and I know she's given back a lot to First Tee, and just inspiring young athletes to do that. I'm not as familiar with mom and dad. There's a lot of people here that I'll talk to them about. They'll hear different things about the school or things like that, and they're like, "Well, I knew him, and I knew her. I knew the Lopez's, and I'm like, well, tell me about them. And they're like, well, they were just wonderful people, and the salt of the earth, and sacrificed and did everything they could for her. She got some other cool facts. She had to play on the boys team.
Yep.
At the time, that's one of the things that I want to highlight with my afternoon session. It's open to my out of season athletes up there at Goddard, but I'm trying to focus it more with my female athletes, because it's like there are things that happened, not 6 years ago,
right,
kind of a deal that y'all would not have even recognized. The fact that there wasn't this and there wasn't that, and you did have to wait, and it was just different. And I'm not saying it was good different, but I'm just saying they're getting to reap some rewards of the work that a lot of the ladies that have gone before them.
The breakthrough today, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying the breakthrough today has a carved out path, and that's because it was carved out by people like Nancy.
Oh yeah. Well, and she wins state with the boys, 73-74. And then the interesting thing, and I've never really dove into this other one, and that wasn't all she did. Gymnastics, basketball, flag football, track, swimming, just an all-around athlete. And then, moved on up. Senior year at Goddard High School, she competed in the 1975 Women's Open, finished second as an amateur. I cannot even begin to imagine how stressful that was, at her age, and then doing the things that she did. 1978 was her first LPGA season, wins 9 tournaments, including 5 consecutive victories, named Rookie of the Year on the LPGA Tour of the Year, and then had I'm going to screw up the VARE trophy for the tour's lowest scoring average, all in the same year. So I'm pretty sure she knew what she was doing and was able to parlay that into a wonderful career. And I've had the opportunity to visit with her just a little bit, as we're prepping and planning some of this stuff. And she just seems so down to earth. I mean, what a neat lady.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to meeting her.
And I still have it in kind of the back of my head, but I'm still blown away by, I can't imagine how, and I've watched rounds of golf and seen how low, or so to speak, the score is, and how much of a difference, how much of a gap you can have between players. Having a gap of 115 strokes over somebody, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of overhead that you've achieved over somebody. That's crazy to think about.
Well, it really doesn't even matter what age that is. That set the stage that there was something special there, right, and that she had that ability. And the Nancy Lopez golf course at Spring River being named after her, the homage to that, and the some of the other things that I believe there's part of the relief route that's going to be named.
Yes, and that's actually, I was going to mention that Thursday morning at 10 a.m., Thursday, September 3rd, 10 a.m., they're going to be dedicating the relief route, or the section of it, to the Nancy Lopez Relief Route. They're going to be doing that dedication at Highway 285 and the Relief Route, which is the Relief Route heading out towards Dexter. And they'll have some distinguished guests there. We'll have Nancy Lopez, as well as you mentioned, Dorina and JoJo. They're going to have the famous Goddard High golf team, as well as the Roswell High Legacy team, who actually played with Nancy, and the Goddard High Legacy team and golfers. So it'll be just a great event to really celebrate history of the sport and maybe see some faces that have gone on to bigger and better things.
Well, it's interesting is like I said, the event has grown, and it was, well, so-and-so is going to be here, and so-and-so is going to be here. And I'm like, okay, not near as famous and not near as popular, but we're on the team. Mm-hmm. And if I've got the data correct from Diane, everybody that played with her that is still with us is going to be back. And I was like, that's insane, incredible. And so we've talked about, like, hey, we want to take them on a tour of the building and let them see and how much it has not changed. And, show their families, their grandchildren, and et cetera, who all comes with them. And then the other part too is I want to actually walk her through the old building, and get her a chance to show the kiddos, her grandkids, where she went to school and the different things like that. I
can't help but chuckle when you said how much things have not changed. I'm fully aware. I'm actually getting ready to send my daughter to Roswell High next year, and every time I drive by, I'm like, well, at least they painted it. Like, there's really not a lot that's changed as far as the structure itself, and that's a good thing. We got it right the first time, Well,
and it's interesting. I was actually part of whenever I was the principal at Goddard, I had the first graduating class that came back for their reunion. I want to say it was like their 50th reunion.
Oh, wow.
And we hit the library, and a couple of them were like, I'm pretty sure that might be the same furniture that was here whenever we were here. And I got to think about it, and I was just like, you know what, that just might be. And
one of them goes over to a bookshelf and says, see, right there, carved my initials. Still here.
And it just might be, but we're very blessed with the facilities that we have. And as far as taking them in and having them kind of relive, that's always neat to see when they, will remember this, remember that. And I had class in this room, and this was Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. Such and such.
Sure.
And then whatever happened to them and different things like that.
We got a little taste of that kind of a couple weeks back with the Historical Society with the event that they had held at the Little League at the Lions Hondo field. And just kind of how much that field has gone through a lot of changes. There's still a lot of, the old concession is still there in some of the old fields, but it's been upgraded, it's been, advanced, and it's got to be neat for a guy like Dewey to go back to a place like that and kind of, it's like in the Sandlot. You look at the field and you just see kind of like the ghosts of you guys playing as when you were kids and just reliving those memories and seeing yourself in those places.
So the interesting thing with the golf course, pick up my first club, 11, 12, 13, something like that. Go out there for some junior lessons with the city, took advantage of that kind of a deal. But the course has changed so much. And I would be really interested to see as she kind of walks through or drives around for the golf tournament on that Saturday, what some of those memories will flood back. Because as you're going towards the tennis courts, there's not a whole lot you can do with a straight par 5.
Sure.
And so what will be her thoughts with that? The trees here, this here, that kind of a deal.
And that's sort of an interesting thought because the city has expanded around the golf course. Like we've grown around the course, so the course has to kind of adjust to make it work. And it's one of my favorite things about the Nancy Lopez course is how ingratiated it is and with the part of the community. It's you look over here and there's a fountain in a pond, and then you look over here and there's Portofino's. It's such a cool thing that you're like right here in the heart of the town.
Well, and that hole back in the day played with like monster gigantic trees. So you were taking a wedge or a 9 and you were either going to go over them or you're going to take your chances going through them. Going over there early in the morning before the pro shop opens up, and the fences at the time were so low, you literally just stepped over the fence. You stepped over the fence, and you either caught them back as you were making the turn, or you came back after you were done, and then you would pay up your fee.
Sure.
A tee time was a ball rack that everybody put it in and they'd roll down. And when it got to yours, it's your turn to tee off. So I'm excited for that kind of a deal, and some of the memories that'll hit her with that, and with the Institute as well, and that how much that course has changed with Home Depot, because the holes that go off of Washington, they didn't exist. So it'd be neat to see, just kind of pick her brain on a lot of that.
I'm probably giving away too much here, but I have a secret spot. Like when I want to just enjoy lunch by myself in my car, there's a parking spot right behind the Whataburger, and it's in perfect shade. It's right over in the corner. I can kind of be nonchalant, enjoy my Whataburger, not a sponsor, and then just sit there and kind of gaze out on the course, and watch them try. It's really a fun thing to do. So
you're brave, because that also happens to be right next to the driving range. So you're a brave individual.
I have yet to lose a windshield or a tooth, so I think we're gonna go off of that. But now, like we said, this expands over 3 days. We mentioned the dedication of the field or the relief route on Thursday. As we have mentioned, they're going to have the dedication of the school at 8:30 a.m. on that Friday morning, and then that's going to be at 301 South Hinkle for those who don't know. Sorry, Ace Ventura flashed back in my head. Finkel is Einhorn. Then on later on that day, they're going to have the Legacy Golfers Celebration Dinner. The reception's at 5:30. The dinner is at 6, and that's going to be at the Roswell Elks Lodge. It's a ticketed event, $50 per person. And if you want more information, or if you want to get your tickets, you can contact Miss Diane Taylor. 575-420-9890 is the number to call. But get your tickets, because that's going to be another one of those trips down memory lane. A lot of folks with a lot of memories, and even some of the rougher experiences on the course. I try to live by the mindset of the worst days I've had tend to make the best stories. And those make me interesting at parties. So, these are the kind of situations where it's like you get to relive the good and the bad, but through that nostalgic lens,
Yep. Well, and I tell you what, the kind of a cool segue as far as with the legacy, we're sitting here talking about, and we're referring to him as first names, JoJo and Jarena. Some people may or may not know. I mean, JoJo Robertson, and I believe she would be married by now, so I don't know that necessarily we're going to go by JoJo Robertson, but that's how I remember her.
Sure.
Early 90s, Goddard golfer, started at the age of 13, let's see, let me get this right. Competed as an 8th grader, 1990, 13 years old, qualified for the U.S. Women's Amateur Public Links Championship, youngest player in her field at the time. I had graduated, 90 was the year I graduated, so when she came in and played as an 8th grader, I had heard of her, and then for the next 4 years, in the paper constantly, JoJo in the team this, JoJo in the team that, and 90, 93, 94, played under the tutelage of her mother, Becky, also the coach there at Goddard, one of the most successful, if not the most successful, high school girls golf coach. Nancy Lopez was an idol of hers. Became a 2-time U.S. national champion. Left Goddard, went to Oklahoma State University. Won the U.S. Women's Amateur Public Links champ in 95 and 97. One of only 5 women in the history of the sport to win that championship twice.
Wow.
Played on the Curtis team, the U.S. Curtis team, and for America, prestigious competition against Great Britain and Ireland. Competed in 97 and 98, U.S. Women's and Amateur. Head women's golf coach at Texas Tech, that she's held that position since 2009.
Oh, man.
So when you think of JoJo and Andy, her dad, and Becky, and Greg, her brother, I mean, that's golf royalty here in Roswell.
Absolutely. You touched on something back there that people in Roswell are so passionate about the game of golf. Or there's a good portion of the population that's very passionate about the sport of golf. And that all goes back to the fact that we have, and still to this day have, some of the best golf programs in our schools in the country.
Yes.
And that's what instills that excitement, that anticipation, that ability is it all starts with having a good foundation.
Oh yeah.
And we have some of the best here at Roswell High and Goddard,
Well, and the neat thing is, as a town, so we had the next lady that I'll talk about, Jarena, here in a second. She came back for an event a while back, and there were individuals that came back that had, felt like they had a part. They had seen her on the course. They had supported her. They had, out on the driving range, different things like that. And one of the cool things about the game of golf is, everybody's competing. You get out there on the golf course and you may get a little cutthroat every now and then, but no one has cornered the market on the perfect way to do that particular game.
Right.
It can be the most beautiful and eloquent game, and it can be the most frustrating thing that you do ever, but you're going to go back because you're just going to try to make it better. And that's the other thing, is that you want to see the success of somebody, after you. And if you feel like you may or may not have had a small piece to that,
right,
it really does kind of pull that community together. So, we've talked and we've advertised this event. I've had a lot of people that I didn't even know, played golf, and they're like, "Boy, I can't wait for that. I that's so cool." And a lot of people that had grown up hearing the name on TV and radio, and they're excited for that. So, and then the other piece to it for us is kind of connecting the dots with the kids, because I've got a group of kiddos that have not a clue.
Right.
And, we're working on educating them and explaining to them, and not even so much for the fact of like the golf, but just somebody that went to your school has done some really, really cool things.
Yeah.
And you have the chance to do that too.
Right.
And, there's ways to do it, and they've set a roadmap, and the roadmap wasn't go and be as dumb and as stupid as you can. The roadmap was stay the course.
Right.
Try to do what's right. Try to take care of your grades, and work. And none of these ladies was anything handed to them.
Right.
Especially
for women's golf. I mean, you're not only not handed anything. There are hurdles put in place in front of you so that you will fail, because they don't want to see you succeed.
Well, and I got tickled watching those YouTube videos of sports in the 70s and the equipment, just the advancements that they've made, and as dumb as this sounds, like the golf shoes, and they can't be comfortable, but yet they're walking and doing all that work. So
the last time that Diane was here, they had the folks from First Tee with them, and I don't know the name of the young lady that was with them, but they started talking about the difference in golf balls and how this young lady, she only specifically uses a very specific version of a Titleist ball. It's a Titleist, and then she listed off the thing, and she said it's specifically because it's bound differently. And these are the kinds of things that go through the mind of today's golfers.
Oh, yes.
How do I utilize the tech that I have to make my game better?
Well, in video and playback and swing coaches, and Nancy's was her dad. And I would assume probably somewhere out there was someone with a camera, or different things, but not an iPhone, and not being able to do that. And yet she was able to just accelerate
absolutely
her game, and then the game in general too. Then you come to Jarena, and she went through Goddard whenever I was actually there as a coach. I wasn't a golf coach, but she was there, and she didn't even pick up her first golf club till she was 15.
Really?
And just super athletic.
And see, that seems like a more, now I know I'm not trying to say that it's inappropriate to pick it up at an early age, but that seems like a more age appropriate thing to do. You're like, oh, this is new, this is exciting. I'm not a prodigy, but I'm at an age where, this is where I can really build my skill.
Yep. Well, and I can remember watching her play volleyball, wins a state championship in volleyball, just extremely athletic, and then just blossomed in the sport. Became a two-time Solheim Cup player, 2016, represented the United States in the Rio Olympics. Qualified for the Olympic team after tied for 8th in the U.S. Women's Open, moving her up to the top 15 in the world. And then, like I said, just you don't have to be the girl that plays at 8 or 9 or 7 or anything like that. You can always start doing these things and just running with them. And how neat it is to have 3 phenomenal role models and how successful they are, and
it's not a coincidence, though. It's a testament to the passion that the folks who have been the instructors have for the sport. You'd mentioned that Nancy took such an inspiration from and learned so many lessons from her father. It really does matter who you have for your first couple of instructors, because they're the ones that are going to instill that love of the game in you.
Yeah.
They're not just teaching you the fundamentals of the game. They're showing you that this is a game that you can put your whole heart into and really be passionate about it.
Well, and the thing here, like in Roswell, and you made mention of this too, and I mean, I can't remember that. I'm sure there's a Chamber of Commerce stat to this about how many days out of the year you can play golf in Roswell and be remotely comfortable. I don't know that yesterday would have been a day to go do that, but but there were people out on the course, and there, you know, there's always people there, and hats off to our people that take care of them, whether that's the city or the Institute or over at the Country Club. I mean, it does draw people, and it does provide people with an opportunity to go and to be active and to stay active.
Sure.
So, you know, we're very blessed as far as the school district. You know, we host our golf tournaments, and I get tickled with people that, you know, how come they can't do any of their stuff on the weekends? And golf kids miss a ton of school. I mean, a ton of school.
Sure.
And you know, we have to remind them, like, well, you know, they're for profit,
right?
And when
this is how we build champions, right?
When we have a golf tournament, you know, although we do have an entry fee, they don't quite make the same amount of money that they make on a regular day. But you know, you go by any of those places, and there's almost always somebody out there doing something. And the tournaments and the benefits that you know, like the one that they had the other day for the Cancer Society. I mean,
my most of my experience in golf is doing radio broadcasts at golf tournaments. And I got to say, not only, you know, is the passion on display, not only is the love of the game on display, it takes a special level of strength to be able to start drinking that early in the day. I don't understand. I had like, just to see, I had like half of one beer when I was doing a broadcast one time. By the end of the broadcast, I was in pain. I was doubled over in pain from half of one. I'm like, y'all are some strong people. It's a special level of strength and dedication.
Well, that's like an advanced course. No, I'm kidding. But the cool thing, like with our kids, and I you know, not even a good segue there, but when our kiddos do that, they carry their own bags.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they'll push them with the carts. And like you said, 18 holes. You know, golf used to be an exercise sport, and if you walk it, a long way. Yeah, long way. And when you think about how many miles,
absolutely,
these three ladies have walked, how many billions of golf balls they have hit to specialize their craft, and then the other piece to it too, and I do want to give a huge shout out to Miss Lopez for being able to come back. You know, I mean, she's moved on with her life, and God bless her for that, and. But the graciousness to be able to come back and say, you know what, let's go do something cool.
Right.
And we've got, you know, most of her family, I believe, are back for this. We've got her daughters coming in and her grandkids coming in for this, and to get an opportunity for us to really kind of say thank you.
Yes.
And to do that with them, you know, being a part of it as well. Really, really a neat thing. Looking forward to that. And
by the way, we didn't mention on Saturday, the final day, the 5th, they're actually going to be having the dedication of the Nancy Lopez Golf Course there, and that's going to be happening at 8:30 a.m. So that's kind of going to round things off and really, you know, kind of put a bow on this 3-day celebration. And it's awesome that we get to each day take a different, you know, area, whether it be the school, whether it be the relief route, whether it be the golf course, and just pay homage and honor, you know, Nancy in that way, and talk about how her abilities and what she did are the reason that we have facilities like we have.
Yeah. Well, in the elementary school was named a different name, and at the time the board comes up and says, you know what, we want to pay our respects here with one of our own, and a neat event. And I've got the sign. It's kind of cool. I have from the old elementary school. There was and it's heavy. Oh my gosh, it's heavy. It's bronze. And it's sitting in my office right now. That dedicated the board that was there, that dedicated it and got the name changed. And so, you know, hats off to that group for recognizing that we needed to honor one of our own. And that will get into the new building as soon as I can find somewhere in the new building that is strong enough to hold that thing.
Sure. Structurally sound.
Structurally sound. It is a two-person job when it comes to moving that thing around. But you know, just testament to that, to her and to the work that she's done, and you know, hopefully somebody, you know, You never know. But, we've got roughly 320 kiddos right now at Nancy Lopez Elementary School.
You could have another Nancy Lopez.
You may
in our midst right now.
Well, and it sounds cliche-ish, when you think about that, but they're somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a room somewhere doing something right now, and you just, as a teacher and an educator, that's something that we've always tried with our staff is, be realistic, but don't do everything you can not to squash, because once that bug has been mashed, it's a hard bug to pump back up.
It's hard to put the cockroach back together once you break it down.
It is, and hats off again to the first two organizations here in Roswell for the work that they're doing with our youth golf, and then let's take that one more too, because we just mentioned that every one of these other girls played other sports too, so the opportunity for us here in Roswell with the Parks and Rec and the organizations that we have where kids can get involved at a relatively low price.
Right.
Some of your bigger towns don't necessarily have some of these opportunities, and it's shifted on more over to your private, and that's going to jack up the price quite a bit. But Roswell's still fairly fortunate. You go out on any given Saturday out to Cielo Grande, and you got the youth soccer.
Yep.
And then you got your flag footballs, and you got your basketballs over at the rec center, and you got your baseballs at Lions Hondo and out at Noonup, and Roswell girls softball. So there shouldn't be any reason why we can't get the kids involved.
Right.
And that's something that I think most of these ladies would champion as well.
And as parents, I encourage parents to, encourage their kids to pursue these activities. And try not to think about how much of your time it's going to take. Because that's I think parents have a tendency to factor in, well, I'm going to have to take them to soccer. I'm going to have to take them to dance. I'm going to have to do this and that. And yeah, it can be time consuming. But trust me, you're building something. We're building towards something that's going to be bigger and better than, even you thought.
Well, and don't give up. Maybe it's not basketball or tennis or whatever, but continue to try to foster that. And build that drive inside them to not be afraid to do something and fail.
Right.
I watch kiddos right now, and I'm a late bloomer. I'm an early bloomer. I'm too short at this age. I'm too tall at this age. I'm too skinny. And I'm just like, time takes care of all of that.
Right.
And if they've got that drive to not be afraid to try different things in them, that can only benefit them down the road.
Right.
So we're excited for it. We're glad that Diane has done the work and her team has done the work to get this thing off the ground.
Absolutely.
We do ask if you are coming to the event over at the school, that we'll funnel you guys in a particular direction. We're not going in the building.
Right.
Like I said, I got classes going on.
In session.
School is in session on that day.
Now, if you want more information or if you want to get your tickets for the event at the Elks Club, you can contact Ms. Diane Taylor. Again, that number 575-420-9890. Clear your calendars and put this on your calendar. Be a part of this event because it's going to be an absolute amazing event to celebrate an absolutely amazing person.
That's right.
And of course, bring out all your Happy Gilmore 2 merchandise so she can sign that. That'd be a nice thing. That was something I was completely not expecting. I'm sitting there watching, like, oh my God, Nancy Lopez! That was really, really cool. So just for whatever reason the golf has brought you here, be a part of this event, and then let's get excited because it's gonna be fun.
It is. She's ours, and like I said, it's something that you can lay claim to, and take a little bit of ownership, and be proud of our town for a change on
for a change. Exactly. You know what? You're absolutely right. Exactly. This gives us a chance to be proud of Roswell. Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
And we'll get you back in here in more official RASD capacity. By the way, I did mention Roswell High School classes are canceled for today due to the water leak. So if you haven't already heard, you should already be in school by now. But if you're not there, well, there you go. Brian, thanks again for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
4 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let us get you up to date with the news.
announced retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. after relations deteriorated sharply on Monday. President Trump told Canadian leaders to, in his words, fall in line or face consequences far worse than the existing tariffs. Prime Minister Mark Carney accused Washington of trying to subordinate Canada. The president also threatened new 50% tariffs on Canadian vehicles, auto parts, and steel. Carney said U.S. trade demand showed Washington wanted to, quote, destroy our major industries. President Trump says he's trying to level a playing field with Canada through those tariffs, but his approach could complicate Republicans' efforts to defend their Senate majority in November. 5 states with critical Senate races count Canada as a major trading partner. On Wall Street, investors aren't sure what to make of all the latest discussions. The Dow is doing well. It's up 64 points. The Nasdaq up about 130. This is SRN News.
Hey, Roswell, time is running out to cash in on some of the biggest savings of the season. The loan and lease termination sales event is happening right now at Roswell Ford. Drive away with a truckload of savings in a brand new Ford F-Series pickup with financing as low as 0% APR and make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early? Roswell Ford will do whatever it takes to get you out of your trade, even if you owe up to $10,000 more than it's worth. Have less than perfect credit? Roswell Ford works with a network of aggressive lenders that will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Get on board at Roswell Ford during our loan and lease termination event and get huge savings on all new F-Series trucks, America's top-selling pickup in each of the past 49 years. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months is $27.78 per thousand finance on F-150 trucks. Excludes Raptor. Interest accrues from date of sale. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
This is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. Luxurious dreams are yours to nurture. Serta mattresses so plush and grand, the finest quality in all the land. Sink into softness, feel the embrace, where quilted textures caress your face. Dream your dreams pure and deep, your Serta mattress lulls you to sleep. Night after night you'll rest supreme on clouds of wonder you'll love to dream. Come down to Glenn's on Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
It's hot outside, but the deals are even hotter during the summer clearance at Bush Appliance in Roswell. They're clearing the warehouse to make room for new arrivals, and that means massive savings on refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, dishwashers, ranges, cooktops, even full kitchen packages. Plus, custom kitchen and bathroom cabinetry too. Huge discounts and hot deals during the summer clearance event at Bush Appliance, 111 West Country Club Road in Roswell, Southeast New Mexico's home for appliances and cabinetry for generations.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly